So, who noticed the slight change to the Ruka thing? To the Ruka starting soon thing? Anyone? Anyone noticed it? Anyone notice the slight difference? That's why the stream was a little delayed. I was supposed to start at 5. I'm 10 minutes late because of that. I'm 10 minutes late because of that. I saw that and it was bugging me and I'm like, I want a new one. I want a new one. So I'm going to make a new one. And I just made a new one right now. That's why I was late. I was late because of this. Look at this. Okay. Um let's see. This is what it used to look like. What it looks like now. Yep. That's the difference. That's all it took. I just needed to make a perfect one. Granted, the first one's a little cleaner. It's a little different. The blue's nicer. It might be something I need to fix later. Yeah, the blue's nicer in this one. Anywho. Welcome. Okay. I'm a little late. Where should we start? Damn, I'm losing. What the fuck is going on with my Twitter? What the fuck is going on with my Twitter? I'm like not getting as much likes. People are like unfollowing me. I'm like, did I say something offensive? What's wrong? Did I say something fucking offensive? What's wrong? I don't understand. I'm dead serious. I like literally don't know what the fuck's happening. I've been losing followers, and my things aren't getting as much traction. And oh my god, it did the thing again. Ugh, whatever. There we go. That should be okay. Hi, Johan. Hello, Shadow over the Wind. I'll just call you Shadow the Hedgehog. I haven't seen you in here in a while. In other news, regarding this chapter, I've been talking to a lot of people. Like, I talked to a lot of people on Twitter, on Reddit, or not Reddit, not so much Reddit. I talked to a lot of people from Reddit, but not on Reddit. And yeah, no, it's kind of wild how like so many people fell for this chapter hook, line, and sinker. You know, it's kind of crazy. It was genuinely wild how many people like just straight up thought this was a great chapter, and I'm just like, wait, seriously? Wait, seriously? Like people actually bought this chapter? What? I like they didn't see like all the like bro, those flags were not red. They were fucking crimson. What do you mean? bro, if someone asked me if the flags were red in this thing, I'd be like, bro, they're fucking crimson. Those flags weren't red. They were crimson. What do you mean? So yeah, I don't understand. It's a little wild for me that like people thought this chapter was like great. When it's like it's all the red flags. It's literally just red flags of the chapter. Like literally red flags of the chapter. Okay, why is chat being weird? Hi Johan, my goat. Hi Johan, Pastor Johan, here to speak the rent gospel. Did I say something weird? What is going on? Dude, the one time I decided to not stream early and just sit back and play a little Kingdom Hearts to relax because I felt tired. Everyone's being weird now. What is happening? What's going on? And like I'm seeing people who haven't been here in a while. Like Skibby, Shadow. I haven't seen y'all in forever. Yeah, and you're suddenly back. What's going on? How are we weird, lol? You're just weird. No, it's just please teach us, oh sir. Oh my god, stop it. Yamero. Yamete kare. No, it's just weird because like I'm seeing people I haven't seen in a while. And it's I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for signs like Minnie. Maybe I'm just like Minnie. I criticize what I am. A filthy liar, that's what I am. Um, I forgot. So when I was making the thumbnail, I misspelled lonely, and I'm like, I know I misspelled this somehow, but how did I misspell this? Why can't I tell how I misspelled this? So I go and look it up, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just stupid. I understand. But yeah, okay. So I've been talking to a few. I've been talking to a few different people regarding this chapter, and it's kind of wild how like you slowly realize Reiji's essentially intentionally leveraging people's perceptions of Minnie and this story, um, to great effect. In particular, I even saw Japanese fans blaming Chizuru, and they have like Chizuru PFPs. You know, it's kind of wild, and it reminds me so much of when Chapter 380 came out. And we remember when we were reading chapter 380 and like literally everybody's blaming Chizuru. And I think everybody like if you really think about it, if you really think about it, I think everybody's been blaming Chizuru since Hawaiians and the 3-month time skip. That's pretty much when it really started. And I think people have been stuck on that. I've talked to a lot of people who have still not gone over the 3-month time skip. They're still stuck on that. They're still blaming Chizuru on that. When like to me, I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure, she fucked up, but she absolutely atoned. She's actually fucking trying. Where you have Mommy, Ruka, and like Minnie facing absolutely no consequences for any of their fucking actions, and y'all focus on Chizuru, right? Y'all fixate on Chizuru and like her mistakes and how she's to blame, and that to me is like fucking insane. Because I don't get it. Like, what do you mean it's all Chizuru's fault? And you know, you'll regularly get people come in here, and oftentimes they'll either blame Kazuya or they'll blame Chizuru, but it's often just misdirected. It's like, yeah, there's an element of fault at Kazuya here, absolutely. But the thing they're blaming him for is not what he needs to be blamed for. In that same way, the fact that people are just like blaming Chizuru for rejecting Kazuya, it's like, okay, but do you know why? Did you get like an explanation why, or are you just taking something that validates your narrative? And this is the thing I really want you to take away from this. This is going to be the focus of this stream. This idea of validating our own narrative. I think this is going to be a really, really big talking point of where we are right now. And pretty much, I think that's kind of this chapter. This chapter, in a nutshell, is essentially validating my own narrative. That's what this chapter is. This chapter gives you a narrative. It sells you a narrative. It sells you an idea of how something looks, what something is, what you think it is. It is best represented in Minnie herself. Nothing better represents this chapter than Minnie herself. Because if it'll load, how Minnie looks right here is the real Minnie. How Minnie looks right here is not the real Minnie. Minnie looks like she's calm, she's introspective, she's not fucking calm. She is a stupid kid freaking the fuck out. She doesn't know what the fuck just happened. And the fact that she screams in the restaurant, "You had sex with Ruka-san," it tells you everything you need to know. She didn't get the full picture. If Minnie's interpretation from this is that Kazuya and Ruka had sex, then she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Right? That's her immediate assumption, and she screams it out to the public. What do you mean? Why would you scream that out? What the fuck? Why are you blasting this poor man's secrets everywhere? Right? Like, what the hell? And I think this is what I had a theory that I'm gonna get, like, it's gonna make it a short theory. So, okay, you know how Umi saw Kazuya with Ruka? I don't think it's gonna be malicious or anything. But I think when Chizuru may end up like talking to Umi or something, and Umi may mention she saw Ruka holding Kazuya's arm, something like that. It's not going to be like malicious or anything. He's just going to point that out, right? And I think that could be relevant somehow, right? Umi mentioning that in some way, shape, or form, like that's going to come back. That's going to come back. You just don't quite know how. And the only way I could see it coming back is if Umi mentions it to Chizuru somehow, you know, and I don't think it's going to be like malicious or anything. It's just going to be like Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what that means. There was this girl he works with that like was holding his arms, right? Because I don't even know if Umi like knows her name. Um, and I could see this being some sort of talking point, and in turn, I could see this coming back to Chizuru reaching out to Sumi, right? I could because remember the biggest thing that we have is that Chizuru told Sumi, if I ever need advice, I'll come to you. I could see that being what's gonna happen because Chizuru at the moment doesn't think she needs advice, and I could see her going to Sumi. You know, I could totally see her going to Sumi because she maybe hears about this through someone else. Um, Umi ends up acting as like validation from the thing he saw outside somehow. You know, he like just mentions it somehow. And then um, Chizuru goes to Sumi for advice, and Sumi actually gives her like solid fucking advice. I don't know which would happen first, Chizuru talking to Sumi or Sumi talking to Kazuya. Maybe Sumi could go investigate for Chizuru because she's going to talk to Kazuya, so that could be how that happens, right? Regardless, next chapter it's gonna bring Mommy back. People seem to be confused as to why Mommy is back, and I personally see it perfectly, because that just makes sense. Like that just totally makes fucking sense. Mommy represents the unspoken truth. Mommy, okay, what? Seriously, what is the one thing Mommy has not told Kazuya, and it is just a big glaring red fucking flag for any form of relationship that could possibly ever form? Mommy did not tell Kazuya what the fuck she just did. She didn't tell Kazuya what she did in Hawaiians. Like that genuinely heinous shit. Right? That's a big glaring red flag that Mommy just conveniently has not mentioned. Hey, isn't that similar to who's that similar to? Oh, that's right. Kazuya keeping Ruka's secret from Chizuru. Huh. Mommy is hoping to somehow start a relationship with Kazuya while keeping it secret that she seemingly sabotaged his fucking relationship with the girl that he liked. Huh. Isn't that weird? Hey, Chizuru, let's start dating. Oh, by the way, I had sex with this other girl. Hey, Kazuya, let's start dating. By the way, I screwed up your earlier relationship. Huh. Do you see a parallel? Do you see a parallel? No shit, Mommy's coming back now. Minnie just told him to keep this shit a secret, literally like Mommy is keeping that shit secret. So, of course, Mommy coming back makes a lot of sense. She is a reminder. Mommy coming back before Ruka does her shit is also a reminder to that. Because guess what? Kazuya meets Mommy first after changing his hair. Then Kazuya goes and meets Ruka, who literally changes her hair after interacting with Kazuya. And tries to look different for Kazuya just as Kazuya is trying to look different for Mommy. And what she thinks of his hair. And Chizuru. And all that shit. It's almost like Mommy was foreshadowing to that. It's almost like when Mommy did not react to Kazuya changing his hair and then complimented it afterwards, it literally mirrors how Kazuya is not reacting to Ruka changing her look and only commenting on that afterwards. It's like Mommy was literally foreshadowing for Ruka, and now, in the same exact way, Mommy comes back right after the Ukri incident, which Kazuya is hiding, and in turn, it's going to directly connect to the talk Kazuya needs to have with Sumi. Mommy is going to be foreshadowing for Sumi in that sense, right? Because Mommy's not going to be able to have a conversation with Kazuya about real serious matters for the simple fact that she's also trying to hide something. She's also wearing her own mask. She's also trying to hide something and start a relationship on fictional ground. So when Kazuya goes to a person who literally is a fictional girlfriend who does not speak things, right? Sumi doesn't say things, right? She's the character who literally does not speak, and she speaks of things we should not talk about. It's almost like it makes perfect fucking sense. It's almost like the setup is all literally there. Sumi is the character who will talk to Kazuya about something he thinks he should not talk about. Who Minnie told him not to talk about. Who Minnie dismissed and did not speak about. This is literally an immaculate setup chapter disguised as a chapter of acceptance. This is a chapter literally presenting itself as a chapter of acceptance and understanding, and it's a great thing. It's not. It's actually horrendously bad. Because Minnie just told him, I don't actually accept you. You should hide this. This is bad. Because here, and the best way I can show it to you, how does Kazuya look by the end of this? Does Kazuya walk with his head lifted up, proud of himself, feeling a little better in himself? No, his head is down and he sighs. Right? His head is down and he sighs. While Minnie continues to tell him gibberish. Minnie showing up when you were expecting Sumi is literally the setup, right? Yeah, he looks pumped. He looks so pumped. So excited. Hell yeah. Totally walking with excitement. No, literally, what this chapter is doing is that it introduces Minnie first intentionally because you're expecting Sumi. Sumi is what you think Minnie is. Sumi is the real support. Minnie is not support. What Reiji did here is intentionally create contrast. In fact, that's what Reiji's seemingly been doing consistently for the past, like, I don't know how many chapters. It's just been contrast. Great example. Umi gets introduced. Okay. Before Umi comes back. Okay. Not that one. One more chapter back. Okay. Chapter 406. Okay. This is an easy piece of contrast. Chapter 406. Ruka asks about Chizuru and if Kazuya would want to have sex with her right now, which, by the way, Minnie says the exact same thing to him. Do you think that you'd want to have sex with Chizuru right now? Hey, who also caused Kazuya? Do you want to do it right now? Who else just asked him this? Huh. Do you feel like doing it right now? Do you feel like doing it again? Huh. Isn't that weird? That Minnie also asked this. But that's not what I'm trying to highlight to you. Let's hold off on that. That's not what I'm trying to highlight to you. Hold off a second. Ruka asks about Chizuru. Kazuya says, yes. Look at Ruka's reaction. Grr. She's annoyed. She's pissed. She calls him out. What about me? He lies. She gets more pissed and then wants to leave. Okay. Now let's go to Umi. Okay. Umi asks Kazuya, did you kiss her? Kazuya says, yes, I guess. Look at Umi's reaction. Does this look like someone who just heard the person they love kiss someone else? That's not the vibe I'm getting. In fact, that's quite supportive. He's just like, hell yeah, brother. Look at how cheery he looks. A little blush, excitement, hell yeah. He's hype. What did Reiji just do? Create contrast. Ruka, someone who actually has feelings for Kazuya, gets really fucking bothered when he says that he would want to have sex with Chizuru right now, and then he says no to Ruka. Umi, who just heard Chizuru, the person he seemingly likes, kiss Kazuya, is pretty happy about it. This does not look like the reaction of someone who is not support, right? Or would be against you or is your rival. If anything, Kazuya's interpretation of Umi being his rival might be completely fucking fiction. And Umi's role has not changed since the beginning of the series. Almost like Umi's role has not changed since the beginning of the series, right? And guess what? What does this do? This also acts as foreshadowing for what Umi ultimately does. He's rooting for him. You don't root for your rival. The fuck is that? Right? Is everything okay? لا مدى أشوفه but قلت البيت يوغا أني عالي. Am I too loud? Honey, am I too loud? Okay, just making sure. So, yeah, that contrast, pretty big deal. Now, Umi, this character who is actually supportive, is being contrasted with who? Minnie. Huh. Kazuya goes to interact with Minnie, and Umi feels more supportive than Minnie. Umi, the rival character, feels more supportive than Minnie. Isn't that weird? Right? Umi can hold a mature conversation with Kazuya better than Minnie ever does. If anything, weirdly enough, I think if Kazuya just described what he experienced with Ruka to Umi, I bet Umi could clock he was sexually assaulted. And that what he experienced was not sex, nor was it really his fault. Is Reiji foreshadowing us by Umi? Well, okay, what Reiji's foreshadowing with Umi, at the very least, is that, one, Umi's role since the beginning of the series never changed, which is that he's actually always secretly been support, but he's framed as a rival. Two, Umi, he's subverting what you expect Umi to be, which is that you think he's some rival and he's gonna come back and he's gonna be sneaky and he's gonna do this shitty shit. In reality, Umi might actually be really supportive. Umi will be the real wild card. He's his wild card being is that he's actually support, not something that's trying to get in their way. Whereas Minnie, the character you perceive as support, is actually getting in their fucking way, and in fact has for the wrong time. Remember, didn't I make this analysis like literally with Umi from a long time ago? Where I literally said, hey guys, do you remember how Umi was introduced? All right, he's introduced as this like scummy person. You think he's sus, you think he's Chizuru's boyfriend, you think he's all these things. In reality, he's support. Every time Umi shows up, he gets them closer. Minnie, in contrast, is intentionally presented as support and has been dividing them this whole fucking time. Minnie's intro is that she makes the balcony, the thing Kazi and Chizuru have shared for 100 fucking chapters, go kaput in a single fucking chapter. Never see it again. This thing that was theirs and no one else's, she destroys it. All because she heard in a YouTube video that she should put her foot down. I'm sorry, who's the divider and who's the unifier? Then, when Minnie shows up in chapter 387, who is she presented as? Ah, that's right. She frames herself as Oda Nobunaga, aka the great unifier of Japan. Except, Oda Nobunaga never saw the unity of Japan, quite literally just like Minnie never saw it. The person who ultimately unites Japan and becomes the first shogun has no relation to Umi. But that's the funny thing. The first time you see Umi in a play, he is a shogun. What are the fucking odds? It's almost like Umi will actually be the thing that could possibly bring them together. The first unifier. There's three great unifiers of Japan. One is Oda Nobunaga, who Minnie frames herself as. The second, his last name is Kinoshita. What are the fucking odds? The second one, his name is Kinoshita. The third, the great unifier of Japan, the one who truly united Japan, and the one who waited the longest to take his move, the one who actually ultimately waited the longest to take and plan, he's the one who brought it all together, and Umi just happens to be a fucking shogun. What are the odds? Right? Like, that's crazy, dude. What was the thing that Reiji said would be resolved in a few chapters? So he was referring to Kazuya's hair, but slight correction on that. He said after that point that the more he wrote, the more he felt like he needed to do. So the thing that was supposed to be resolved in a few chapters got a lot longer because he felt like he couldn't just half-ass it. He needed to put full effort in and explore every single piece of detail. This is why we're going to all of these characters, because they all represent a different piece of the puzzle cracking. A different piece of the... So basically, what you've been presented up until this point is the best part of the picture. Think of it like that. So, like, okay, when you look at a picture, isn't there like a part you're gonna really like about the picture, and maybe the rest you might not like? Just like when you watch a show, there's like a part of it that you really like, and then the rest you may not like. What Reiji is essentially doing is like, okay, the parts you don't like, I'm gonna start shattering them and telling you that your idea of not liking them is completely rooted in your own bias. So what is Reiji doing? Because we've been so focused on looking on the best part of the picture, we're not seeing the full picture. We're just seeing parts of it. So he's literally tackling each individual part, right? And Kazuya's hair is a perfect representation of all of these problems. It's all purely surface level. The reason Reiji was freaking out about Kazuya's hair is because it really is a big fucking deal. But in another way, it's also not a big deal at all. If anything, when you think about it, it feels like the Reiji's freaking out about thing is more about Ruka, right? Doesn't it feel like it's more like it's about Ruka? In reality, I actually think it's always been about Kazuya's hair. Kazuya's hair is a really big deal. His hair changing and him like doing all this stuff is a big deal, because when did this all start? The moment Kazuya changed his hair. The moment Kazuya changed his hair, it all proceeded to fall the fuck apart. Instantly. Runs into Mami, runs into Ruka, runs into Umi. Everything is like seemingly exploding one after the other. It's like small bombs going off at like key points of the structure, so the building's literally gonna topple. Right? So that's pretty much what Reiji's doing. I still have my theory that like by chapter 420 or 421, something different's gonna happen. Like things might flip. That's what I mean. Sorry, I haven't been reading the comment section. Let me see what people have been writing. In the fake date, Minnie will play Mizuhara, and she's really become one with that role. Judging by her current behavior, Minnie acts calm, but she's actually feels much more than she lets on, like you said. Are you referring to the Joy Polis scouting? In the fake date. Okay, so the Joy Polis scouting. Yeah. Even in the Joy Polis scouting, the person Minnie is playing is not Chizuru. It is Minnie's idolization of Chizuru. It's not really Chizuru. Like, that's not fucking Chizuru. Right? Minnie is literally expecting Kazuya to read her fucking mind the entire scouting. And Kazuya's like, what the fuck are you on about? And then you go to the actual date with Chizuru. Chizuru never expects that. If anything, Chizuru's actually actively telling him, tell me what's on your mind. Right? Whereas Minnie is expecting him to somehow magically read her mind. Sumi talking to Kazuya first is my prediction. I think Sumi needs to talk to Chizuru first. It's almost like impossible for Sumi to talk to Kazuya first, because she doesn't have his contact info, unless Reiji pulls a fast one somehow. But Sumi doesn't have his contact info, and Sumi probably still thinks he may live with Chizuru. So she literally needs to speak to Chizuru to speak to Kazuya. So, at the very least, Sumi's gonna mention that somehow. At this point, it's been like... So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... It might be 6 days or 5 days since Kazuya's birthday. Which, by the way, like, I think that's kind of a big deal. That it's been that long since his birthday. And Sumi wants to give him a birthday present, so she can't, like, wait forever. You know? Like, she needs to find the time to give him his birthday present. It's been 5 days already. It's way past his birthday. So Sumi being late also in some ways kind of makes some sense, because it's an inversion of Chizuru being late. So, okay, what do I mean? On Chizuru's birthday, if you guys remember, on Chizuru's birthday, Sumi made plans with Chizuru, right? Sumi made plans with Chizuru, and Chizuru came home late, right? So here's Sumi waiting at Chizuru's place, right? Sumi was waiting at Chizuru's place. Chizuru had lost track of time because Chizuru is essentially time traveling. You see this a lot, or not a lot. You see this a few times, where Chizuru is in like acting class and she's lost in thought. She's like somewhere else, and Kazuya brings her back, right? Because she tucks Kazuya, she comes back. Like I think this chapter is such a big tell of where Chizuru is, mentally, because she's not in a good place after the 3-month time skip, and people like completely forget that. And just kind of want to dismiss Chizuru's feelings. I think that's such a big tell for me. The people don't want to understand this character. They just want to dismiss her feelings. But like, look at this. This is Chizuru after the 3-month time skip. She's literally fucking out of it. Right? She's literally somewhere else. And this person has to talk to her, and Chizuru just tells her, "Oh, I'm just a bit short on sleep." Why is she short on sleep? Right? She's tired, she's out of it, she's exhausted. Then Kazuya texts her, and it energizes her. And guess what? After she texts him, she gets a good night's sleep. It's almost like when your partner supports you, talks to you, and is there for you, you actually feel a lot better, and you get some good fucking rest. No wonder people like this chapter so much. So, Chizuru is still somewhat isolated by the time in her birthday. She still doesn't really have like good connection and support. You see that isolation right here, right? Where they pretend to throw her a birthday party and then cut her off. So when Chizuru is isolated and feels alone, like she kind of really loses track of time, right? In contrast, as a contrast to that, Sumi is really late to tell Kazuya her feelings, right? Like incredibly fucking late. So on Chizuru's birthday, what happens? Right? On Chizuru's birthday, what happens? Chizuru comes home and she totally forgot about Sumi. Totally forgot about her. She says, "I'm sorry, I completely forgot. I forgot that it was today. I'm really sorry, even though you talked to me about it." Completely lost track of this. Chizuru was late when Sumi visited Chizuru's home. Now, Sumi is late to give Kazuya a birthday gift. Whereas before, she literally did talk to Kazuya and planned for it. Are you seeing a parallel? The parallel is really important here because Sumi is late to give Kazuya a gift, as well as way too late to share her feelings. Way, way too late. But she needs to. You must do it regardless. You must make a choice. This is what this is. It doesn't, you have to make a choice, right? And Sumi is way too late to give Kazuya a gift, just as Sumi's way too late to tell him her feelings, right? And what happens? "I'm sorry about everything. I suppose you weren't expecting all this. Kinda. I see. I'm sorry." How many times has Chizuru said sorry? How many times has Chizuru said sorry now? 3 fucking times. She's not okay. "This is my grandma. This is my grandma. Thanks. Let's head back. Isn't it wonderful, Grandma? Sumi-chan came to pay her respects." Almost like I don't matter. My existence doesn't matter. Why do you think Sumi understands that so well? Because Sumi is literally a character who stays quiet and disappears into the background. She literally cannot communicate. So she sits in the background and disappears. So she understands exactly how Chizuru feels. This character who wishes she could disappear. Are you okay? She sees Chizuru when no one else did. Not Sumi, Minnie and Kazuya couldn't see Chizuru here. Isn't that weird? Why can Kazuya not see Chizuru here? Why can Kazuya not catch that Chizuru is not okay? whereas before he could. Isn't that strange? And yet, Chizuru remembers the person who was there for her. In fact, Kazuya just being here is enough. And yet, he's not. Sumi's the one helping her. What's going on here? Right? So this is already foreshadowing on, right? Do you have someone you can depend on? Chizuru says yes. Can Kazuya say the same? Right? Does Kazuya have someone he can depend on? Right? You would probably say, well, yeah, he has Minnie, right? Does he? Did Minnie really help him through his struggles? Did Minnie really listen to him? Did Minnie really give him good advice? Right? This is where another piece of contrast is struck. What does Sumi do here? Chizuru tells her, I do have someone. There is someone, he's been there, he supported me, and I know this person's always on my mind. Chizuru-san, do you like them? I don't know. Thinking back on it, I think I've been very unfair to them. I'm not a good person. I can't run away. I gotta make this choice. Someone hasn't given up, right? Even though I've given lots of people relationship advice, I'm a real mess, huh? Sumi-chan, that's not true at all. Chizuru-san, you're the most wonderful girl that I've ever known. Whatever answer you come to, I'm sure it'll be the right one. She trusts her in the decision she chooses to make. I trust that you will come to the correct decision. What did Sumi do? Or sorry, what did Minnie do? What did Minnie do? Hey, so you're wrong. Everything you did is bad. These are your only options. Here's 3 options. This is what you have to do. These are your only options. You don't have a choice. She didn't listen. She didn't actually take in what this person is saying. She didn't pay attention to her, right? She didn't actually look at Kazuya like Sumi looked at Chizuru, right? Sumi looked past what Chizuru was saying here. Oh, shit. She thinks she's a big fuck up. Sumi, literally, if Minnie heard this, Minnie would be like, yeah, you're a real big fuck up. Would that really help Chizuru? Why do you think Chizuru doesn't open up to Minnie? Seriously, why do you think Chizuru doesn't open up to Minnie? Because Minnie would be incredibly dismissive, naive, and childish. Whereas Sumi actually fucking listens to her. Right? Sumi actually fucking listens to Chizuru. Listens to her feelings, pays attention, catches what's wrong, supports her. You're a good person. I'm sure whatever decision you make will be the right one. Yeah, thanks, Sumi-chan. I'll come to you again for advice. Actually, good fucking advice. Huh. Now, in comparison, would you say what Minnie did here is good fucking advice? Blaming the person who probably already feels guilty and asking them, do you feel like you're gonna do it again? What do you fucking mean, are you gonna do it again? Why don't you ask him, why did this happen? Right? Sumi asks questions, but she asks the right ones. Right? What does Sumi ask Chizuru? Chizuru tells her, this person's always on my mind. Chizuru-san, do you like them? I don't know. She listens. She pays attention. She listens to the person. She lets them continue. Look at how much Chizuru is talking. Sumi is not interrupting. She's listening to Chizuru. She's letting her talk. She's giving her the space to communicate to her. And then when she says, right here, when Kazuya says this, right, it just happened, Minnie should have asked, what just happened? Could you explain what just happened? I don't really understand. Like from the beginning, just carefully, play it out for me, please. I don't understand. Isn't it weird that Minnie, when she listens about Chizuru, and hears about how Chizuru kissed Kazuya, wants to get every little detail to the point of reenacting the whole goddamn thing. But when she hears something she doesn't like, She doesn't want any more details. She settles for what he told her. Isn't that really fucking suspicious? Right? Minnie doesn't want to hear about something she doesn't like. All she wants is something she will like. So what does Minnie do? She sits down quietly while Kazuya is freaking the fuck out, not knowing what's going on. Sumi here would have been like, okay, let's calm down. Could you explain more clearly? I don't really understand. I'm not judging you. It's okay. Please don't feel like you're afraid to talk about this topic. Sumi would be a little more understanding. She'd be freaked out, but a little more understanding, right? Could you explain a little? I don't really get it, right? What is the first thing Minnie does, right? With just the little information he gave her. Do you feel like doing it again? What the fuck? You don't even know what he did. In fact, does Kazuya say he did something? She, started touching me, and before I knew it, it happened in my pants. Okay, did he do something? From the dialogue he conveyed to her, did he do something? No. He didn't do anything. Right? Did he actually do any? No, he didn't do anything. The fuck? So, Minnie's immediate reaction is, are you going to do it again? No, not at all. Well, that's not completely true, is it? Do you feel like doing it again? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. But Minnie's not asking the right question. She doesn't want the real truth, right? I'm not going to try and act all innocent. I know very well how men can be. Her eyes are closed. Does she actually know how men can be? She knows men can be horny, but she doesn't actually know anything about men, right? Because she's never had a relationship. Oh, look. Does this dialogue sound familiar? Oh, look. Hey, this dialogue already sure sounds a whole lot like a certain someone. And this dialogue right here sure sounds like someone else too. Yuck. Who does this sound like? Even I know that a guy can't go again right away. I'm not going to try and act all innocent. I know very well how men can be. It's almost like Minnie is exactly like Ruka. It's almost like Minnie is exactly like Ruka. You probably got her hopes up again. I don't think things are going to end here with Ruka-san either. Oh? They should end. What do you mean you don't think things are going to end here with Ruka-san either? She's implying he's going to do something with her again. Right? She's literally implying he's going to do something with her again. Instead of telling him, "Ayo, you should really shut this down hard. This is a problem." I mean, of course she'd doubt me after what just happened. Kazuya's immediate reaction is that she doubts him. That's what she just conveyed. I doubt you. Did Sumi ever do that to Chizuru? No. Hey, look, is Minnie actually the support she looks like? Just came here to say you were right about Yaemori telling Kazuya to confess to Mizuhara. You mean to not say anything? I said Minnie would tell him to not say anything, which is pretty much what she did. Huh. She doubts me. Right? And then after she doubts him, he feels like explaining. Is Minnie really support? Is Minnie really support? I know whatever I say isn't going to be very convincing. I also hardly remember everything that happened. Oh, look, signs of PTSD. Oh, look, signs of PTSD. Oh, look, his eyes literally don't have pupils. It's like he wasn't there. It's like someone literally robbed him of autonomy and he was fucking assaulted. It's like he wasn't there. Oh, look, Minnie doesn't really listen to this. It was just my first time being touched by someone. It really made me hate myself for being a virgin. It has nothing to do with being a virgin. Ruka made him hate himself for something that's normal and everyone experiences. Or maybe he's in heaven. He's not in heaven. Literally, it's a bodily shutdown. It's straight up a bodily shutdown. It's literally a trauma response. What's happening to Kazuya in chapter 404? Let's get into that for a sec. Because see, there's clearly someone here who does not understand it. Okay, what's happening to Kazuya in chapter 404 or other chapters? He's literally mentally shutting down because on one hand, he doesn't want this to happen. On the other, he can't move. He literally says, I don't want this to happen, but it feels good. So his body's literally having a clash with him. His literal body betrayed him. His mind wants one thing, his body wants another. Because he's not listening to his body. So his body literally betrays him. Okay? So what happens? He mentally shuts down. Doesn't have pupils? The moment she addresses him, the moment she actually calls his name, he wakes up. He's back. It's like he literally wasn't there. In fact, go read chapter 404. Is Kazuya literally doing anything? She literally picks up his hand and puts it on her boob. He's literally not moving. He's somewhere else. He's mentally shut down. Reiji continuously shows you Kazuya and how Kazuya is literally not there. Right? Eyes. She's kissing him. And guess what? What is this? It feels so good. I can't move. Where's the part where he says, like, I can't move my body. Look at this. I can't move my body. I can't do anything. Why can't I move? And suddenly, he's not even reacting anymore. He's literally just lying. She stopped. Look at it. She stopped. He's not reacting anymore. He's just lying there. He's not doing anything. He's just lying there. And then she keeps kissing him. He's not cognitively there. His mind is shut the fuck down. Okay? This is assault, period. This is absolutely fucking assault, period. Okay? The whole point is that Ruka has completely ignored his feelings. And his body just shut down. He's not there. That's why he says, I don't remember everything that happened, because he literally doesn't. His body shut down. Right? Notice what Kazuya flashes back to. The end, the beginning. Just the end and the beginning. That's the only flashbacks he has. Everything else, complete blur. It's like literally for most of 404, he's not there. He literally mentally shut down. And Minnie doesn't catch any of this. It was just my first time being touched by someone. I really hate myself for this thing. That has nothing to do with who you are. That literally, he hates himself for something he shouldn't hate himself for. I'm honestly surprised by myself. So ever since then, I felt so guilty towards Mizuhara. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's going on with me, and I feel a whole lot of guilt. What does Minnie do? Wait. Oops. This is what happens when you reject someone. Kazuya's talking about himself. She goes and makes it all about Chizuru. Kazuya's like opening up to Minnie about feeling guilty, how he doesn't know himself, how he's confused, how he's lost. And Minnie's like, oh, this is all Chizuru's fault. Minnie is correct. I'm sorry, if you literally think Minnie is correct, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. If you literally think Minnie is correct, you're an idiot. Sorry. No. No, absolute. Mini solution to this issue is blame it all on Chizuru. It's Chizuru's fucking fault. It's Chizuru's fucking fault. Was Chizuru in the room when Ruka assaulted him? No, was Chizuru in the room? Did Chizuru tell Ruka to do this? Did Chizuru tell Ruka to do this? No. Huh. Okay. Okay. So you're saying Chizuru pushed Ruka? Chizuru pushed Ruka to date Kazuya, right? That's your argument, right? Okay. How many times did Chizuru ask about Ruka in the date? How many times? In fact, every single time love comes up, how many times does Chizuru bring up Ruka? Wasn't Chizuru literally having a freak out in Hawaiians about Kazuya possibly having sex with Ruka? And that was literally an entire dilemma, and she asked him about it. And Kazuya saw how freaked out Chizuru was by Ruka. In fact, didn't the 3-month time skip literally happen because of Ruka? Huh. Throughout the day, Chizuru is actively asking about Ruka and what's going on with Ruka and what's happening with her. Kazuya doesn't tell her. Is that really Chizuru's fault? Chizuru wants to know. She's ready to find the fuck out. She didn't tell Kazuya to end it with her completely. He said he did. He said he did. She doesn't want to push him away. Look, think of it like this. Kazuya says he doesn't love Ruka, he loves Chizuru. He can't end it with Ruka because Ruka doesn't want to give it up. She's going to cause a whole fucking scene. So Chizuru's mentality is simply this. Hey, I cannot let him break up with this girl who deeply loves him if I can't find my answer. I have no right to do this. That's not on Chizuru. She is being absolutely fucking... Okay, you don't have your answer that you love this person. Why would you tell them to break up with the current person that they're dating? Do you have any right to do that? How is that Chizuru's fault? No, seriously, how is that Chizuru's fault? What gives you the right to tell this person to break up with this other person? You're not dating them. You don't even know if you're going to date them. Why should they break up with this person? Huh. Suddenly, Chizuru seems pretty fucking reasonable. Chizuru didn't tell him to break up with Ruka because she has no right to. He showed he was serious about her. He showed nothing happened with Ruka. But she's not going to tell him to break up with Ruka if she's not going to give an answer. Chizuru knew exactly what it meant to reject Kazuya. She's not fucking stupid. She's on the verge of fucking tears. The entire breakup. She's falling the fuck apart. She's physically in pain. She's emotionally in pain. And she did it anyway because she's prioritizing his happiness. She knew what the rejection meant. She's not fucking stupid. This is not on Chizuru. Chizuru did not make Ruka assault Kazuya. Chizuru did not make Kazuya stay with Ruka. Kazuya could have broken up with Ruka anytime he wanted. It is not for Chizuru to decide who Kazuya dates and does not date. It is his decision. So, to say it is Chizuru's fault that Ruka assaulted Kazuya is utter idiocy. It is his decision. What? Kazuya can't make his own decisions? So if you're dating someone and that person assaults you, but then there's this other person who seemingly pushed that person into the relationship, does that make it their fault? Right? I suggested to someone they should date this person, and that person I suggested it to happened to assault that person. How is that my fucking fault? I didn't know this person was capable of assault. How the fuck should I know? That's not my goddamn fault. I will feel guilty about it, absolutely. But it's not my fucking fault. I can't possibly know. Chizuru didn't know Ruka had it in her. Did Kazuya ever tell Chizuru, hey, Ruka's kissed me in the past, Ruka's done this, Ruka's done that? No, he's consistently shown Chizuru nothing's happened between us. Right? He's consistently shown Chizuru nothing's happened between us. Chizuru knows there could be something. She always checks if there's something. Hey, you two dated for 2 years. You've been here before, right? With Ruka-chan. I won't get mad about that. I know it was my job, but I've been here many times with other guys. It's only natural considering you were kind of a couple in Tokyo for a year and a half. It's only natural. You've done this stuff. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to be mad. Just tell me the truth. It's almost like Chizuru knows stuff could have happened. But Kazuya always tells her nothing is going on. How could she know? What does Chizuru tell him right after this? You know what I think? If you can imagine your partner being with the opposite sex and not feel anything, then that's not really love. So if you don't like it, I want you to tell me. If you tell me, I'll tell you too. She's constantly literally telling him, I don't like you being with Ruka. I also don't like you being with Minnie. But I have no right to say this because we're not dating. Kazuya shuts Chizuru down every time by doubting her, and then Chizuru feels guilty. Yeah. Kazuya has made Chizuru feel incredibly guilty this whole fucking time. Yeah. And Chizuru feels like she has no right to say this stuff because they're not dating, and he never tells her, it's okay, please tell me what you're feeling. Huh. It's almost like Kazuya doesn't understand how fucking guilty Chizuru feels, and that guilt stops her from saying what she wants to say. So, I ask you again, is it really Chizuru's fault? Is it really Chizuru's fault? Chizuru was not in the room. Chizuru does not know Ruka is capable of assaulting him. She thought she loved him. Right? If you could imagine your partner being with the opposite sex and not feel anything, then that's not really love. Is this really love? He's up here. He's up here. So, by Chizuru's logic, is this love? Does Umi actually love Chizuru? He just imagined her being with the opposite sex and said, hell yeah. Does he actually love her? Okay. Kazuya never considers this. He never tells her, hey, it's okay, let me know. Tell me how you're feeling. Does it bother you? I want to know if it bothers you. Right? He always just dismisses it. Of course, I won't tend to quit being a rental girlfriend, but you always say stuff like that. I won't be able to stand it if you're the one taking the brunt of it. Okay, what about you? Never tells her. How can Chizuru possibly know? She can, of course, make an assumption, but how could she possibly ever fucking know he was assaulted? He doesn't tell her. He's always just bottled that shit in. She doesn't know what Ruka is doing is terrible. She doesn't know Ruka's like ignoring Kazuya's feelings. In fact, there's another criticism of this in chapter 370. Right? I've talked about this before. This chapter is specifically about, this chapter specifically criticizes Ruka. Kazuya calls Chizuru cute. She says, everyone looks to the boyfriend to shower the girlfriend with compliments all the time, as if nothing else matters as long as the girl is loved. That's what society seems to think, and I hate that. Don't you think so? So someone is loved because someone is there to love them. If love is something meant to be built, then it's not fair unless both sides work on it together, right? Okay. Is Ruka actually working on this with Kazuya? At all? Right? I don't know what love is, but the only people who have the right to be loved are those capable of giving love themselves. I'd rather be someone who can give lots of love than someone who takes all of it. There's a part she's misunderstanding here. She's so focused on the giving part, she's not seeing how someone also has to be willing to take. She's missing the take part. Taking and giving is part of love. Okay? Chizuru is a bit tunnel visioned on herself and how she doesn't see herself clearly, but hey, look at Kazuya. He doesn't say anything. Oh, look. Kazuya thought this was really deep and shit. He doesn't say anything. Right? He just sits there fucking quietly. In fact, go through the date. How often is he just sitting on his fucking ass not saying anything? Look, there is a reason. Reiji said Kazuya was the one who was not ready to date her. It is baffling to me that everyone seems to think it's Chizuru's fucking fault. When if you go to 380, she is literally on the verge of tears when she's rejecting him. She looks like she's the one who got rejected. Like, the fuck do you mean? Are we reading the same fucking series? Look at this. She's utterly fucking devastated that she can't wear this stupid fucking ring and its stupid fucking expectations. Look at her face. Look at her when he walks away. She's devastated. Look at how Kazuya stupidly walks away. And Chizuru sits down and then turns to see if he's still there. Because she actually already fucking misses him. She literally hates that this happened. And guess what? Guess what? This comparison right here where she says, when I did, it smelled a little like grandpa, just a little bit. When she says when she smelled his hair a little bit, it smelled like her grandpa. Now let's give that a little more context. How devastated was Chizuru when her grandpa died? How devastated was Chizuru when her grandpa died? Literally broke down and screamed. Kazuya just got compared to that person she lost. And she's literally about to lose him too. It's like Kazuya is more than just family to her. It's like she's literally losing her grandpa all over again. That's what this scene is. That's how devastating this rejection is to Chizuru. No one processes this. No one sees how much emotional turmoil and pain she is under and how aware she is of what it means to lose him. How fucking devastating it is for her. Nobody processes this. She goes through the entire date for a whole day, blisters on her legs. Doesn't say a word. Bears through that pain alone. She is emotionally devastated, doesn't say anything. Never once wants him to feel never once wants to feel like a burden to him. He should get to live his life. It's not right. She literally tells him. Right? When he says, "Can I keep loving you?" She says no. Why? It's just not that. It's just this isn't right. I know that I'm making you wait, and here I am barring your shoulder again, not able to understand how I feel. If I were you, I'd hate someone like me. She literally knows what this means. She's not fucking stupid. So, if you genuinely believe the stupid horseshit coming out of Minnie's mouth, I'm sorry. You're blind as a goddamn bat. Sorry, YouTube chat. I haven't been reading you. I deeply apologize. I was really into this. I'm sorry. The censorship is so annoying. Yeah, I know. Minnie is like 10% support, 90% shitty advice. Yeah. Chizuru also said something similar during the condom thing. More like 8%, 90% shit advice, 10%, 2% criticism. More like 90% shitty advice and criticism. Kazuya needs his cheer update moment where he breaks down to Chizuru. I think there is intentionally a contrast to the cheer update because the cheer update is like there's a contrast to the cheer update. I can't pin it down at the moment, sorry. People are rage baiting you. They're not rage baiting me, they actually believe this. You can tell from how someone writes. It's like Kazuya telling Minnie, "Can you freaking understand me for once?" No, Kazuya, okay. So I'm going to read you what Varicus wrote. He cooked hard. I agree. I'm going to read you what Varicus wrote, and he cooked really fucking hard. I hard agree with what he wrote here. So let me pull this up. Let's see. I was watching your stream yesterday. This is on the Discord. I'll just put it here. I was watching your stream yesterday and I noticed that Kazuya is the one with abandonment issues people claim that Chizuru has. I've been saying this for a while. Kazuya is the one with abandonment issues, not Chizuru. If anything, Chizuru takes her abandonment issues like a fucking champ. doesn't have any family, doesn't has just like a few friends, doesn't have any love in her life at the moment, taking it like a fucking champ. What about Kazuya? He's falling the fuck apart. He literally needs approval from everyone around him. Kazuya is so utterly terrified of rejection. He's worried about what Minnie thinks. Why does he care so much about how Minnie thinks? Because she supported him? Huh. Congrats, you understand how Chizuru feels. Okay. I just looked it up, and there's something I wrote on chat on September 22nd when 393 was out. I was getting more and more convinced that the one with the serious issues is actually Kazuya. He is the one who believes that Chizuru can't actually love him. He is the one who fears she might change her mind again. And he is definitely the one who would fear she might dump him again if he ever did anything she wouldn't like, or anything at all. He is the one who is self-sabotaging his attempts to get into a relationship. He is the one who makes his firm belief. He is the one who has this firm Wait, what? He is the one who makes his firm belief that he is unlovable into a self-fulfilling prophecy by completely disrespecting the man Chizuru is supposed to love, himself. He is getting himself rejected to prove himself subconsciously right, to prove his subconscious right. Look at his reaction after the rejection. It isn't sadness or regret. He is calm. The rejection was confirmation of what he knew all along. He is more startled by the kiss than by the rejection. Literally dead on. Straight up, dead fucking on. Look at Kazuya's reaction to the rejection. Right? Look at Kazuya's reaction to the rejection. He's seemingly about to snap, but he doesn't. Right? You go to chapter 381. How does Kazuya react? In that moment, I felt like it hit me all at once. I wasn't thinking about what should have done or what it was going to make, what I was going to do from there. I was just disappointed that I wasn't able to get through to her. Disappointment. Usually, you're disappointed when you somewhat expected something, but you didn't think it was going to happen. It's almost like he thought this was going to happen. He was hoping it wasn't, but he knew deep down it was going to happen. I felt like it would have been uncomfortable even if I had gone home and ended up alone with Mizuhara. Now look at Kazuya's reaction to the kiss. Absolutely dumbfounded. Who could possibly ever love someone like him? This is his reaction to the kiss versus his reaction to being rejected. Isn't that a little weird? Let me keep reading. I think his trauma still stems from Mommy. She dumped him unexpectedly, blocked him, and then treated him with contempt. But, so this isn't simply Mommy. This is where I somewhat disagree. He's right, but doesn't know how right he is. Why? Chapter 218. /Hawaiians. All Mommy's fault. All literally Mommy's fault. The rejection, Mommy's fault. Right? The rejection in Hawaiians, literally Mommy's fault. It wasn't Chizuru's. Chizuru was trying to protect him. Right? Now, Chizuru did fuck up in running away, absolutely. But, literally, he cornered her. Right? The reason I'm not blaming Chizuru so much here when it comes to, like, those certain pieces of information is because Chizuru has already more than atoned. She's actually tried to fix and atone for herself. I think people do not appreciate atonement. Like you can't keep judging someone for their mistakes the entire fucking time, right? If they actually stepped up and tried to atone, you need to start giving people some fucking credit. And I think people don't want to. People do not want to give a character like Chizuru credit for trying to atone because she still hasn't done the thing they want her to do. Okay? So it's not just mommy, it's Hawaiians, which is mommy's fault. Right? It's Hawaiians, which is mommy's fault. Which, by the way, that's why mommy represents an unaddressed issue. Right? Kazuya slowly overcame mommy, and she dragged him back down. She literally grabbed him by the feet and dragged him back down. Right? He healed the scar and she ripped it open again. Right? So the damage is even worse. And it's literally all mommy. And yeah, how is mommy being treated versus Chizuru? Right? How is mommy being treated versus Chizuru? Mommy's starting to look kind of cute right now, yeah? Yeah, mommy's looking kind of cute right now. She's a cutie fucking patootie. She's adorable. Mommy's fucking adorable, and you're starting to get a little frustrated with Chizuru, aren't you? Huh. Isn't that weird? Okay. Let's see. Kazuya had been himself. Well, Kazuya was also himself with Chizuru. And then when Chizuru rejected him in Hawaiians, he thought that self could never be loved. That's how he interpreted that moment, and that's what stuck with him. Kazuya is still stuck in like chapter 214 or 213 where he thought he was rejected. He's still there. He's still mentally there in that moment. What he doesn't realize is that moment isn't when he thinks it is. So look, this entire arc is essentially, this is not what you think it is. Okay? That's essentially the theme of this entire saga, this whole arc. That's literally what this all is. Okay? So this scene, I'm going to pull up right now. This is where Kazuya is still stuck. This is where Kazuya has been this entire time. He never got over this moment. He is still there. And he is still interpreting this moment as Chizuru rejecting him. That he's still deeply fearing this moment. That he thinks this will happen again. That he will not be loved. So what has Kazuya been doing since then? He's not being himself. Because he thinks Chizuru doesn't like that version of him. He thinks that's why this happened. He still thinks the reason this moment happened is because Chizuru doesn't love him. She doesn't love who he is. Why did this moment happen? Why did this moment happen? That's right. It happened because of mommy. In that same way, hey, why did mommy reject Kazuya at the beginning of the series? Was it because he was such an unlovable freak that he could never be loved? She sure acted that way. Huh, what did mommy say to Kazuya at the beginning of the series when they went to, where is it? Like chapter 5? I think it's chapter 5. Right? What does mommy say about Kazuya here? Like in one of our, what does she say right here? Oh, I mean, he'd never had that kind of experience before, and from the time he puts on this scary-looking face, like on one of our dates we went on, I wore a miniskirt, and when I sat down, I felt like I was in danger if I were to stand up. After the first kiss, he stopped caring for decency and had garlic breath every single time. Every chance he got, he tried to hold my hand, every chance. And then, when we went out for lunch, he'd then keep me with him till midnight at bars. It kind of reminds me of a little kid. Hey, mommy, why don't you take it easy? Kazuya's laughing. Chizuru gets pissed and yells at her. Fuck off. Kazuya, you don't have to continue, Chizuru. After all, what she's saying is the truth. He already believes it about himself. And now, what Kazuya does not realize is that Chizuru doesn't hate him. He's back to the very beginning of the series. He has returned to his origins, to the very thing that's been trapping him this whole time. And he doesn't see how this thing has been haunting him this whole time, even now. That's why it's important. It's not simply, oh, Kazuya's been stuck there the whole time. No, 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 no. Kazuya overcame this. But it came back to haunt him. And he thinks it's mommy all over again. What he doesn't realize is that not only was this mommy in a way he never expected, even the mommy rejection from the start of the fucking series is not what he thought it was. Because I am of the adamant belief mommy liked him from the start. And the reason she broke up with him was because she was a fucking coward. Why? Why did mommy break up with Kazuya? You don't know. I think mommy broke up with Kazuya because she's a fucking coward. Because she told herself that it's getting too serious. I have this whole family thing. It's not gonna work out. And then she breaks up with him. Right? She says this like because of the family thing or because of that. In reality, she's just afraid of love. She just doubts love and she's just afraid of it. That's why mommy broke up with him. She's not being honest to herself. Almost like a certain Minnie. Now, let's continue this trend. Kazuya overcomes this conflict with mommy. He starts loving himself. He feels like he's being valued. He can have a little more faith in who he is. He goes to confess to Chizuru. Oh, look, he got rejected. Well, she doesn't like me. She can't possibly like me. I'm a filthy, disgusting human being. Because guess what? Kazuya, despite having more confidence in who he is, did not address the self-loathing. This self-loathing has been there since before mommy. Mommy was just something that was inevitably going to happen. Right? That's what mommy was. Mommy was just an inevitability. Kazuya had this self-loathing since high school, whether it be because of his family, the constant rejections, or even Kibe. Right? He has this deep self-loathing he needs to address in himself. And mommy just acted as the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back. In Hawaiians, when Kazuya is rejected, what this does is ultimately result in Kazuya feeling like he's never going to be loved. So he has to start changing himself, right? He doesn't try to change himself after mommy. He does try to change himself after Chizuru. Why? Because he really, really wants her to like him because he thinks this is the real thing. So he starts bastardizing what love is. Another part of it, too, is he wanted to disappear because his family destroyed anything that was left of who he is. Right? And who caused that? Mommy. Right? Mommy opened this scar of self-hatred because of her own self-hatred. And Kazuya thinks it's Chizuru, when it's been mommy all along. It's always been mommy. It's almost like not a single thing was Chizuru's fucking fault. For the most part. She made some issues. She had some. Okay, she fucked up a little bit. She absolutely fucked up a little bit. She ran away initially for sure. Let's not like mince words. Chizuru absolutely ran away initially for sure. And she realized she was running away and she confronted that. But to say it's all Chizuru's fault is a whole bunch of bullshit. So it's like Kazuya is still trapped in that self-hatred. He's still there in that moment, which was not Chizuru's fault. In fact, it was mommy's. Hey, isn't it interesting how we're blaming the wrong fucking person for everything? Hey, it's almost like exactly what Minnie did. Isn't that weird? Right? Isn't it weird that Minnie blames everyone but Ruka? That's weird. Right? Isn't it weird that Minnie blames everyone but Ruka? That's weird. Huh. Weird. It's almost like the bad people are getting away with shit and nothing really fucking happens. It's almost like the bad people keep getting away with shit and the good people are the ones who are treated like crap. Huh. What a weirdly cruel and perfectly reflection of reality. What a weird, cruel reflection of reality. Ha! Anywho, sorry. Let me read some of the comments. I've been like, oh, there's a lot of comments that I've missed. Let's see. Only way it's Kazuya's fault is trusting Ruka and letting her into his room, as well as putting her feelings first. He should have prioritized his safety first. It's not really that simple. Minnie kind of made Kazuya drop his guard, and Kazuya's essentially lost some grip on reality, so he doesn't know where to put his trust anymore. A case in point, he can't trust Chizuru and open up to her, even though Chizuru is the safest spot he could possibly have. Instead, what does Kazuya do? He goes and opens up to Minnie, which, by the way, this brings me back to what Verkes was writing, because Verkes also adds something to that comment that I think is perfect. Um, let's see. He had been himself and he had opened up to Mami and he became hated. Now he fears the same thing happening again. It was not Chizuru who gave him any reason to believe she would ever hate him. He just feels like she will because Mami did when he opened up and he was himself. He doesn't understand what went wrong with Mami, but he subconsciously believes it must have been him. So he avoids opening up or being himself too much. And he also avoids any close contact because Mami dumping him happened after the kiss, right? He also avoids any close contact because Mami dumped him after the kiss happened. He is terrified of being himself or showing any physical affection because it got him dumped before. Kazuya also has a tendency to distrust Chizuru while completely trusting Minnie. Minnie's subtle accusation towards Chizuru do get to him. He starts viewing her negatively because of Minnie's words, even though he should know better and even though he claims to trust Chizuru. It's like he put his trust in the wrong person to prove his subconscious right. Huh. So when you say only it's Kazuya's fault is trusting Ruka, he's literally choosing to trust the wrong people. It's like he's trying to prove his subconscious right. Right? He's lost track of what trusting someone is and what being with other people is. His understanding of relationships has seemingly crumbled. Right? Remember the thing he described about Umi? Right? What did he describe about Umi? What he doesn't realize here is he's describing himself. Right? He makes this description about Umi, and he doesn't realize he's literally describing himself. He's too popular. Where is it? He doesn't look down on women or despise unpopular men. He's just a guy who's had so much in life that he can't tell the good from the bad anymore. That's literally Kazuya. He's lost track of what is good and what is bad anymore. He literally puts his faith in the wrong people. He opens up and talks to the wrong people. He cannot recognize what is right and what is wrong because subconsciously he's following his subconscious. He keeps acting on that subconscious bias of just like, okay, I got to talk to this person, I got to tell this person because they've been kind to me even though they're literally the wrong person, and he knows Minnie is the wrong person. Right? But subconsciously, he wants to think she's the right person because she's the one who got him this close, right? Right? You believe Minnie is the reason they're this close, right? Isn't Minnie the reason Kazi and Chizuru are this close? She ended the 3-month time skip, right? Minnie ended the 3-month time skip. It wasn't Chizuru, right? It wasn't Chizuru who ended the 3-month time skip. No. Chizuru didn't let Minnie into her house knowing exactly what Minnie would do, right? No. Chizuru's not the one who chose to take an action. It was Minnie, right? Minnie's the one who did it. Just as Minnie right now is the one who created July 11th, right? July 11th exists because of Minnie. It's this magical, perfect, amazing thing that you're looking forward to. It exists because of Minnie, right? Or did it? It's almost like you've been conditioned to believe Minnie is this magical MacGuffin that will just get you all the results you want, when it is utter fucking nonsense. You've lost your grip on reality. You cannot tell this is happening because this person fucking cares about you, you stupid shit. Because you don't value yourself. You don't view yourself in a positive fucking light. See what I mean? It's not that Kazuya doesn't prioritize his safety. He literally doesn't care about himself. He literally does not love himself. There's an AI-generated image panel of Minnie and Kazuya kissing on my Twitter feed. People are crazy. Oh yeah, I saw that. It was so fucking stupid. And it has a lot of likes, too. I'm like, what the fuck? Y'all are stupid. It's literally when I get on Twitter and I see people talk about Rent a Girlfriend, it's literally like I'm surrounded by idiots. Let me pull it up. I love using this fucking image or sorry this God, where is it? I love using this thing of Scar. This is what I feel like half the time when I get on Twitter and someone's talking about Rent a Girlfriend. Like this is literally what it feels like. literally how I fucking feel. Just straight up how I fucking feel when I get on Twitter and I see stupid fucking people. Anyways, Minnie literally didn't take it seriously and just called it cheating. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they all have a slumber party. And the fake date, yep. Inverse of the Paradise slumber party arc with everyone there. Maybe mommy can encourage Kazuya that you should tell everything that person you love. No, because mommy's a coward. Mommy can't solve this. She's a coward. So what is mommy gonna do? Mommy. I wrote this for Varicus too. We'll read it later. Mommy gonna confess, and that's gonna inspire Kazuya to confess his sins. Doubt it. Minnie is also telling him to lie to Chizuru. It's like Minnie is saying, only open up with me unintentionally. Pretty much, she's isolated Kazuya. Did you notice that in the last meeting between Minnie and Kazuya, Minnie also raises 3 fingers and says 3 incorrect points. She's playing puppeteer with Kazuya. It's really interesting that we mentioned the number 3. Because what does Minnie's shirt say? 8 and 3. 8 is Minnie's number. 3 is Kazuya's number. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Now, let's get into the other weird part about this. You half 8, it's 4. Right? So suddenly, hey look, Minnie is part Chizuru. Hey look, Minnie is part Chizuru. That's a little weird. So yeah, Minnie's been doing the 3 thing a lot, where she keeps like raising 3 fingers. You have to do these 3 steps, right? It's I think if you think about it, it's that thing that YouTubers do where they try to sell you this idea and they tell you you can do these 3 things and you will get what you need, right? If you follow my 3-step guide, you will succeed in this thing. It feels kind of like that. Right? It feels kind of like that. And I agree with the puppeteer thing for sure. I definitely agree with the puppeteer thing. Minnie's absolutely being a puppeteer. Yeah, the 3-finger thing, and she has the number 3 on her, and it's because Kazuya's number is 3, right? So she's literally puppeteering Mr. Number 3, because 3 is Kazuya's number. She's literally puppeteering him. So Minnie's secretly down bad for Kazuya? Not quite. Damn, is Reggie foreshadowing Umi? Umi will be a wild card. So Reggie already told us from the start what Minnie is. Damn, Reggie cooked. Yeah, oh yeah, he's been very clear with you guys. So Kazuya is gonna keep his new hair for a while. We'll see. Minnie sabotaging Chizuru and Kazuya. Oh yeah, she has been the whole fucking time. So maybe Kazuya is gonna resolve this guilt and regain his identity, which he was losing. It's not gonna just magically happen, but that's pretty much the end goal. I want to see if Kazuya will receive his birthday gift from Chizuru 2 weeks late, just as the Valentine's chocolate was 2 weeks late. Yeah, I think that'll be fitting. Also, Fate, do you still? Well, it'll be 3 weeks late because we're on the 3rd week. Or wait, I guess it would. Maybe it'll be just a week late, so half the time. It'll be half the time. It'll be a week late instead of 2 weeks late, because I think this whole thing is going to end at 3 weeks. We're already at 2 weeks and a half. I think this is going to end in 3 weeks, like in the story time, not in our time. Not in like actual real life time. Also, Faye, do you still think they will meet 3 weeks after their separation due to the D-Mail story? Absolutely. I'm so sure of that. They're going to meet in 3 weeks, right? It makes too much sense. We had a 3-month time skip. We're gonna have a 3-week time skip. At least Minnie told him not to do it again. That. What do you mean not do it again? He didn't do anything. He was fucking assaulted. What do you mean don't do it again? He was assaulted. Hey, don't get assaulted again. What do you fucking mean? The fuck? Sister also said something similar during the condom thing. Oh yeah, we're talking something else. Minnie's like 10%. Okay, we already said this. Yep. Kazuya needed a cheer update. Blah 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 blah. People are rage baiting you. It's like Kazuya is telling Minnie, "Can you?" Nope. Yeah, I'm reading Twitch chat. Kazuya also keeps saying amen to everything Minnie says. Okay, so that reminds me. Where is it? Where is it? There is a big tell here, and it is a big fucking yikes. It is a big fucking yikes. Where is it? Where's this tell? Right here. God Buddha Yaemori-san. Oh man. This to me was a big fucking tell. Let me see if I can find the chapters where Kazuya says this shit. Is it here in 3.7? Could be. Okay, maybe, I don't know. I think it's a chapter before this one. Where is it? What chapter is it on? Ugh. Where do you say God Buddha and all that fucking stuff? Let's try 371. God Buddha something. What was the original phrase? I keep staring at her ears. I'm starting to hate myself. Oh, look. He always hated himself. Please, God Buddha, Almighty Joy Polis. God Buddha Yaemori Sama. Oh my god. Yaemori-sama. That's like the biggest honorific you can fucking give. Like, cause when you say God in Japanese, you say kami-sama. Jesus Christ. Pretty much. Oh my god. He's like putting her. Like, you guys thought Kazuya was putting Chizuru on a pedestal? Look at what he's doing with Minnie. He's comparing her to God. Goodness gracious. Is she going to lose all faith in me? He talks about faith while comparing her to God. And God would not lose faith in you, because the whole idea of religion is that God forgives your sins. The whole thing religion tries to teach you, which you can do without religion, by the way, is that it teaches you to forgive yourself. It teaches you to redeem yourself and to atone. And so God does not judge you for your sins, he forgives you. Right? That's the whole point. God does not judge you for your sins, he forgives you. It is the same in almost every religion. You are not judged for your sins, you are forgiven, and you are pushed to atone and be better. So when Kazuya compares her to God, he's almost fundamentally misunderstanding what God is. And I get it, this sounds silly, but the reason I'm saying this is because Kazuya talks about faith. Your partner doesn't lose faith in you. They believe in you. Your friend doesn't lose faith in you. They see the worst in you, and they still push you to be better. Minnie did doubt him, did lose faith in him, even though she doesn't have the full information. You're the worst of the worst. You don't deserve to be with Chizuru's son. Don't ever come to me for help again. You dirty cheater. Goodbye. He views himself as a cheater. Minnie responds by viewing him as a cheater. So he puts her opinion on the same pedestal as God. Like Christ. They can't keep getting away with this. Minnie's blaming Chizuru for everything is just plain stupid, but Chizuru's actions and also inactions is what made her suffer along with Kazuya. No. Chizuru didn't do shit to Minnie. Granted, I think you're a little late, so I'm going to pretend like you're new here. Is Ruka going to do these repercussions or going to get away with what she did at this point? Oh, no, Ruka's going to get called the fuck out. Also, why is it this chapter is Minnie out on a date with Kazuya? They always seem to be at a restaurant. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at how Minnie is dressed. Hey, isn't Minnie wearing a fucking mini skirt? Why is Minnie wearing a mini skirt when she's going to meet up with her homie? Doesn't Minnie look like she's dressed for a date? Isn't that a little weird? Minnie's advice are way too ambiguous. Minnie should have been more empathetic to Kazuya with his trauma. You're a little late, I'm assuming. Minnie's Nerf shirt also implies she's playing God. Yeah, we already went through this. I had a whole thing written about this. Minnie is literally playing God. Correct. Thanks for reminding me. Minnie quite literally is playing God. You are right. I wrote a whole thing about this. Let me pull it up. Oh, I'm listening to peak Kingdom Hearts music. This shit is cooking. Hell yeah. We're listening to Kingdom Hearts music. This shit is fire. God. No, not there. What is this? What is this? This is all the shit. Keep it. Cheer up, mate. Even if it's beef udon, I'll treat you. Kazuya, oh god. Thank you, Discord friends, for the translation. I'll go back to being confused the meaning plays Final Fantasy. Oh. Okay, there it is. Okay, there it is. So this is my analysis for Mini in 388. Well, I won't get too crazy into it, but I'll read you the part where the chapter is called The True and the Kiss. The Kazuya is the opening page, looking expectantly. Chizuru in the cover page alone, and then Minnie meets Kazuya. Chizuru is literally invisible between them. Her back is turned to us. You can't see her just as they can't see her. The chapter contrasts last week's expectations. Minnie texted Kazuya, and we expected something to happen with that. Instead, it skips to the next day, and Minnie meets him in person after having already moved. Nothing changes, and that's the point. Everything should have changed. When we see the morning with Kazuya, we realize that he had already lost a day with her. Then, when we see the doorbell, we expect Chizuru, but then we cut to the cover page, and Chizuru is at home, sitting down, not moving, which immediately tells us it's not her, it's Minnie. The opening segment highlights intent and contradictions. Kazuya isn't moving, he's just looking. Literally looking at a sign, a symbol of love, but the light is already as green as it's gonna get. Chizuru staying still in contrast makes sense. She's waiting for him to come home. Kazuya can't see this despite having his eyes open. Then comes Minnie. She's yet again wearing her Evangelion hoodie with the nerve symbol. This hoodie should already tell you a lot since it symbolizes how things look versus what they actually are, and in turn, what that must mean. In some ways, you can think of the nerve symbol as symbolizing humanity's attempt to conceal its flaws or sins. It stems from a poem, Pipa Passes, of a little girl walking through an industrial hellhole, and she's really not aware of the meaning and the problems of her surroundings. The most iconic line from the poem, and the one spoken is in Ava, is God's in heaven and all is right with the world. The girl sings happy words, but in fact, nothing's right with the world. If all is right with the world, that means something is wrong with God. This reflects Minnie. God is in heaven, all is right with the world. Except it's not. All is wrong, and mankind has to wrest control from God and his angels and take matters into their own hands. Hence the Evangelions. This is the motto of Nerve, and this is what Minnie is doing here, playing God. In reality, like Nerve, Minnie is the little girl who has no idea. She tries to make everything as it should be. This even mirrors the practice date with Kazuya and that Kazuya and Minnie go on. She acts like everything she is saying is right, but she is, in fact, courting chaos and is totally wrong. Minnie's visit is exactly this. She is here trying to set things right when nothing needs to be corrected. In so doing, she actually makes everything worse and ends up losing Kazuya a whole day by validating his fears. And ultimately, what does it result in? Kazuya losing 2 fucking weeks. Nearly 3 fucking weeks. They're separated for a month and a half. She tries to help, but makes everything worse. Minnie's destructive approach here highlights a few things. 1, it gives you a pattern, a trail to follow. By showing in plain view how Minnie causes chaos, you can reread the whole cohabitation and realize how Minnie has been doing this since the very beginning. Always in the middle. Always between them. However, it does beg another question. Why does what Minnie have to say matter? Why do you listen to her at all? Why do they believe her? Seriously, why does Kazuya trust what Minnie has to say here? He should know better. It's simple. He doesn't trust what he sees. What Kazuya desperately wants is confirmation. This confirmation reflects his need for control over his life. He wants certainty that he isn't making the wrong choice, so he turns to Minnie, who to him has control. This mirrors Chizuru's fears that she is making the wrong choices. But control is something you decide for yourself. Kazuya is leaving control to others. This made it hard for Chizuru, who felt lost. This is why, in the walk home, she trusted him. Simply put, Kazuya needs to start trusting his choices, and this chapter nails this on the head. Notice how when Minnie goes to Chizuru's home, Chizuru takes complete control of the situation and doesn't give Minnie an inch. But Kazuya, he just lets her walk right in and trusts her at her word immediately. Not because she's right, but because he thinks she has things he wants. Chizuru does slip up at one point, however. She also wants to know what Kazuya is thinking. So even if it's illogical, she asks Minnie if he said anything else, despite shutting her out earlier. In contrast, Kazuya lets the kiss slip by accident. These scenes are reversed. Notice how when Minnie shows up at Chizuru's place, she also has a ton of stuff and gives Chizuru a gift, just like she gives Kazuya. She's trying to use these elements as leverage to take control. She even says gifts are friendship checkpoints. It's like a confidant in Persona. When Kazuya grabs Minnie in his usual forceful and under control way, Minnie gets super excited. Holy heck, it's just a special event. There's something I missed. When Kazuya first did this, he said he would handle it on his own. and it really surprised many, but the meaning has changed. This unfortunately later became his crutch. Whenever Kazuya did this, it was because Minnie did something he wanted to do or because he was reaching out to Minnie to give him an answer. It became desperation. Minnie became his way out. And of course, that's no different here. Kazuya talks to Minnie to get answers instead of what he could have done every single time if she weren't there. Talk to Chizuru. This result, of course, disappoints Minnie, since what Chizuru had to say to her was brutal. So Minnie lies, thinking she's protecting him when in fact she's just shattering his entire perception of everything. This makes absolutely no sense, and Kazuya should know it doesn't make sense. But Minnie said she got hold everything. Chizuru didn't lie, right? So Chizuru doesn't lie to Kazuya, but she does to Minnie. Let's see. Minnie compares Chizuru to a bee here. This is interesting because Mami refers to herself as someone who does this exact thing in her character song. Kazuya is seeing Mami, not Chizuru. Mami even wears a Paris shirt in Joypolis, and Kazuya contrasts Chizuru with Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is also mentioned by name in chapter 190, the same exact chapter where Mami shows up at the very end to flip all of Hawaiians on its head. Mami's influence permeates and impacts the characters even now. The scars she left have caused pain so deep it turned into trauma. This makes Minnie, the family, unique from Mami, Ruka, and Umi, showing how even someone who wants to help can divide. She can make them misunderstand each other. This reflects Minnie's own fears and insecurities that she feels through them. It's deconstructing the misunderstanding. Minnie is both the problem and isn't at the same time. Rather, she's just fuel to whatever fire is currently lit. She adapts to her environment but doesn't see it. This is highlighted in how she gives Kazuya beer to drink to drink his troubles away, a depressant, which makes it all worse. Then that depression beer turns to celebratory beer at the end of the chapter. And when we started the chapter, Kazuya couldn't figure out if he was supposed to be happy or if it was happy alcohol or bad alcohol. This mirrors Minnie, who brought many kinds because she doesn't know either. She makes it what it is. Minnie is the encapsulation of ambiguity. You don't know what the fuck the deal is with Minnie. In this chapter, is she Kazuya's girlfriend? Is she Kazuya's friend? Is she Kazuya's disciple? What is Minnie? When the alcohol sours Kazuya's mood, he starts spewing literal venom from his mouth, saying women are the worst. This is even worse in Japanese, where he says dregs, scum, or dross, while Minnie, a woman, sits in front of him, not disagreeing or anything, just drinking more beer. She then closes her eyes, turning a blind eye to what Kazuya is actually saying, not really seeing him just as she doesn't see Chizuru when she is in her home, and literally eating the love that she poured into her food. She even knows it doesn't make any sense, and yet Minnie is blind. The venom element is further emphasized in this panel in the next page, where Kazuya looks like a monster or a hydra. He's just angry and lashing out at everything, and to Minnie, this just makes sense, not realizing she literally caused this outcome by playing God. The irony and hypocrisy piles on, as not only did Minnie say it's not like Chizuru to not take responsibility, but how she's being insincere when this is exactly what Minnie herself is doing. Minnie is the one being insincere. She gave Kazuya a depressant and then pretended to know everything when she didn't. Minnie is the one being irresponsible. Minnie is the one being stubborn to the point of insincerity. Calling Chizuru a valley... Okay, well, she didn't call her a valley girl in English. She was referring to Kazuya here. Yeah. Yeah, so she calls Chizuru a pretty girl, and she says Chizuru is being insincere, yet what does Minnie do? Buy stuff to get things. This is dramatic irony at its finest. Characters so busy playing certain roles that they can't see what they are actually doing. How they are the very thing they claim to be criticizing. How Minnie doesn't see Chizuru at all, only that Chizuru was being weird, not the obvious why. Let's see. Minnie finally opens her eyes and asks if Chizuru put serious thought into it, and Kazuya, remembering the walk, realizes Chizuru was crying. He thought she was crying. He didn't know. This scene is heartbreaking when you not only consider the date, but also the opening page of Chizuru sitting alone, waiting for him to come home. This is where I bring up something I purposefully avoided. When Kazuya calls women the worst, notice how he never directs that at Chizuru specifically. In Japanese, he says all women. He can't bring himself to scorn the woman he loves with this hatred. He even hates saying this. Every time Kazuya says any of this stuff, it's followed by the words, I should just die. He keeps his language broad because he doesn't want to be angry or hateful like this, especially not to Chizuru. Even now, he wants to believe in her, and he doesn't believe Minnie deep down. Hatred and anger are poison, just like alcohol. It burns you from the inside out. Kazuya doesn't want to be this. It's intentional that he's shown putting the bottle down finally and just looking normal. He stopped reacting and finally remembered Chizuru. But he didn't let go of the bottle. Minnie can't see that at all, despite realizing Chizuru was crying, which contradicts her whole narrative. Minnie just lets him keep going. Here, he hugs the bottle close, saying it's impossible and that they live in two different worlds. But do they? People were spreading misinformation online that Kazuya spent 250k on Chizuru. In reality, he only spent like 30k at most, 4k over 30k to at most 40k over 2 years. But Kazuya and Chizuru are broke college students who live in rundown homes. Their differences are smaller than their similarities. You'll notice here how Reiji intentionally places the dialogue about the kiss right next to Minnie here, just to hammer in how it's literally sitting right next to her and she's missing it. I also want you to notice how Kazuya's room is a wreck after Minnie shows up, not before. Kazuya then talks about his future, job hunting and graduation, responsibilities he doesn't want to think about, and instead remains in a hamster running in remain but instead remaining a hamster running in circles forever and ever for Mizuhara. This is actually Minnie's doing. She made him more irresponsible through her meddling. You can even see this in the date when Kazuya talks to Chizuru about the future, and he comes off like he didn't think it through because all that was on his mind was the date. And Chizuru rightfully calls him out on it, but wants to support him and work with him through it all. Minnie yet again says her iconic line, "You really love her." She said this in chapter 251 as well, just before meddling again. As she drinks again and says how no matter how far you go, whatever Chizuru is thinking gets lost in the shadow of her genius. There's a pause. This line's really important because you think you don't understand Chizuru. No, Chizuru makes fucking sense. It's hard to admit, but Minnie and Kazuya make a hell of a couple. They would make a terrible couple. It would be incredibly toxic. If this does not highlight that to you, I don't know what does. No. Kazuya and Minnie would be a horrible couple. They would fuel both of their insecurities and it would be terrible. Because okay, I came to the realization in this chapter, the chapter we were reading. Minnie is lonely. Minnie is very lonely. And you can best see that in her description of love. She's lonely. Okay? So, Minnie in her loneliness will string Kazuya along. In fact, she has been. Okay, you think Minnie and Kazuya would make a great couple, right? Right? Why hasn't Minnie told him how she feels? Huh. Oh, right. He likes Chizuru, right? Okay, so if she has feelings for him, why is she giving him advice on relationships? If she has feelings for him, should you really be giving someone advice on relationships if you have feelings for him? I mean, how can they trust you? You're hiding your feelings for him. So, what if you secretly sabotage this relationship? Huh. It's almost like Minnie is actually really bad. Minnie goes to Kazuya's house, lies to him, and has him get drunk and makes him depressed. Would Minnie really make such a good couple with Kazuya? It's fun to watch, absolutely, but it's incredibly toxic. Because she strings him along in her loneliness, and Kazuya, who has a deep fear of rejection, keeps getting attached to her. That's literally codependence. That's really fucking bad. Kazuya and Minnie are literally codependent. It's incredibly bad. It's super toxic. In fact, Maybe I... Let's see. We love Minnie. She's great, and she's right. In reality, she reflects our own she reflects our own idiotic ignorance back at us. How we see what we want to see. How people assume and make up all sorts of crap about Chizuru and the story to justify their own narrative that must be true. Reiji is literally calling out the readers and their behavior when it comes to this story. How they constantly tell him what to do, how their perception of characters is so twisted up it makes no sense. How they just answer questions with so much confidence that you believe it. 388 perfectly shows in the end when Kazuya says he was just thinking the same thing. Kazuya already came to this conclusion the day before, but he spent most of the chapter not thinking this. And are these even his thoughts? This isn't Kazuya's relationship anymore, it's Minnie's. This unhealthy codependency on Minnie needs to end. Neither of them see it. Chizuru will have to be the rational person in this room who calls this out for what it is, dysfunctional and toxic. For crying out loud, Minnie got Kazuya drunk despite seeing how badly it messed him up last time. Minnie saw this last time and still got Kazuya shit-faced drunk, whereas Chizuru said no more drinking. This is clearly bad. Minnie is the enabler to Kazuya's people pleaser, and Chizuru is stuck in between them, being forced to either control the situation or be the martyr. Why do you think she doesn't tell Minnie about the kiss and walls her out? She doesn't want Minnie to define the kiss for her and Kazuya. The more I look at this, the more it becomes clear something needs to change. Kazuya's demons are not from Minnie, but she makes them worse out of her love for Kazuya. He turns to Minnie to get approval. He turns to Minnie to get approval. He can avoid conflict, even if it means suppressing his own needs and desires. In contrast, Minnie facilitates this harmful behavior in her misguided sense of love and admiration for Kazuya, never setting proper boundaries and never saying no to him when he comes calling for help in his forceful way, feeling responsible and only focusing on his wants. It reflects how both Kazuya and Minnie have traumas they aren't dealing with that clearly informs this behavior. Chizuru overcame her role as a martyr and a controller through them and needs to help them overcome their trauma so they can be their real family, a responsible friend. Chizuru is literally the responsible one. Minnie is incredibly irresponsible. Like, literally, Minnie's a terrible friend. I feel like the next arc may be about exploring, breaking down, and overcoming unhealthy dynamics and relationships, as there are many, whether it be Mami, Ruka, Kazuya's family, friends, or even Sumi, who bottles up her feelings and doesn't express herself honestly. Damn, bro, I was calling that shit out. Literally, I'm sorry, if you think Kazuya and Minnie are a good ship, like, no offense to you, you blind as fuck. You blind as, it's a pretty picture. That's the best way I can put it to you. It's a pretty picture. The picture's just pretty. You like the pretty picture. It fits your narrative. It looks nice. You're like, yes, this is what I want. Is it actually what you want? Is this actually what you want, or what you just convinced yourself you want? It looks pretty, so you want it. This is literally what love feels like for a lot of young people. They see a pretty person, they're like, they're the one for me. This is going to work out. This is going to be great. We would make such an awesome couple. And then it blows up in your face. And suddenly you realize maybe them being pretty doesn't mean you're compatible. It doesn't mean they don't have unresolved traumas, or that they'll understand you or see you for who you are. Minnie is a snake. Mommy is a snake. Kazuya needs to start believing his own judgment, because he's been right for the most part when he listens to himself and not anybody else. No, it's not really that. I don't think Minnie is a snake. Mommy is a little more snaky. Minnie's a fox. Minnie's more of a fox. They do look cute together, but they have no chemistry. Yeah, it looks fun on surface level. Kazuya and Minnie look really fun on surface level. In reality, it's incredibly destructive. It's really, really fucking destructive. Like, very unhealthy. She literally gets him drunk when she knows he has a drinking problem. Kazuya literally has a drinking problem, and Minnie gets him drunk. And keeps him drinking. Yeah, we don't talk about that, do we? Minnie kept him drinking. And then gave him the excuse, oh, you should talk to Chizuru when you're not drunk. Who got him drunk in the first place? Like, so many people are pinning all of this shit on Chizuru. It's literally not her fault. It's literally not her fault. Like, none of this is Chizuru's fault. Doesn't Chizuru tell Kazuya not to drink so much? She says no more drinking. She says you need to stop drinking. Right? She's like, no, this is bad. You need to stop drinking. No more drinking. Right? She like tempers him and controls his drinking, so he doesn't do it because it's clearly bad. Okay. Oh, I know. I haven't looked at Mute yet. Let's see what Mute wrote. Alrighty, let's look at Mute. Oh man, he didn't get many likes either. I guess it's not just me. I miss Kazuya and Chizuru doing anything together. I know. What does Kazuya drink anyway? Tequila? Everything? He tends to drink beer. The theme this time is the responsibility of love and the meaning of advice. Who's responsible in this? Who is responsible in this incident? Was Yaemori-san's advice actually appropriate and on point? I'd like to dig deeper into this question. Oh shit. Did my man cook? Oh shit. Did Mute cook, baby? Ooh. Chizuru didn't say I prefer my lifestyle over you. Did Chizuru say that? Chizuru did not say that. She says, considering my current lifestyle and where everything is right now, I don't think I can jump into a relationship right now. She gave you 2 whole pages explaining her 2 whole chapters explaining her feelings. She did not say, I picked my lifestyle over you. No, do not put words in her fucking mouth. She did not say that. No one interpreted it like this, except for you readers. None of the Japanese interpreted like this. Kazuya didn't interpret it like this. Only the English readers. Only the English readers interpreted it as Chizuru picked her job over him. Do not put words in her fucking mouth. Do not do that shit. That is stupid. She did not fucking say that. And I'll pull up the page just because you don't believe me. That's not what Chizuru fucking says. I don't regret kissing you at Hawaiians, but I would do it again, no matter how many times we ended the same situation. But maybe that's because I can't bear the idea of facing Nagomi-san and Kibe-san, or that I can't bring myself to forgive Mami-san. I also feel guilty about my grandma believing me until the very end. I think there's more to what I'm feeling than just being in love with you. I might have feelings for you, but considering my current lifestyle, my work, and everything else, I just don't think there's just something I can jump into right now. So, I'm sorry. It is incredibly thoughtful. I'm sorry. She didn't put her job over him. I'm clear. She's literally saying, I am not in a position to figure this out. I don't think I can figure this out right now. I don't know how I'm going to figure this out. I'm lost. I'm confused. She didn't say I picked my job over you. That is an idiotic interpretation. That is so fucking stupid. I heard stupid idiots like Chibi saying that crap online. It drove me up the fucking wall. No, that's not what she's saying. She did not pick her job over him. Kazuya did not interpret it this way. Kazuya did not read it this way. Many heard what he said, and many didn't interpret it this way. Nobody interpreted it this way except stupid English readers. So I'm sorry, you're literally reading this fucking wrong. That's not what she's saying. She's not picking her job over him. She's literally saying, I can't figure out my feelings. My job is a mess. I have so much fucking going on. I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, so I'm sorry, I can't jump into this right now. I don't feel confident enough to jump into this right now. The moment he makes her feel a little bit of confidence, the moment he believes in her, and just a little fucking bit, Chizuru kisses him. Because she has faith in herself now. She thinks she can fucking do it, just because he told her you can do it. Just because he told her, I believe in you. That's all she fucking needed. Throughout the entire date, she's literally saying, I'll toss my job aside for you. She says it multiple times. Multiple fucking times. Do not say that stupid shit. That's not what Chizuru said. If that is your interpretation, work on your reading comprehension. If that is your interpretation, work on your reading comprehension. Reread carefully. Stop saying stupid shit like that. That's not what she fucking said. People are rooting for Minnie because they're tired of the push and pull dynamic we've seen for so long. And that push and pull dynamic is only happening because of Kazuya. Chizuru is ready to jump into this shit. He's the one who's not. Kazuya is the one making the push and pull dynamic. Chizuru is ready. He's the one who's not ready. Kazuya is the one who's creating this whole push and pull dynamic. Chizuru was ready in Hawaiians. She was ready then. She just needed some support. That's it. Dude, love is you need to fucking talk to your partner and you need to have understanding and sit down and communicate to them. Okay? Chizuru is trying. Chizuru is absolutely fucking trying. He's not. He has not been this entire fucking time. And you picking Minnie is idiotic because Minnie is not talking to him. Minnie is lying to him. Minnie is getting him drunk. Minnie's doing all of these things. She's literally stringing him along. The thing people are saying Chizuru is doing, Minnie is doing it. She's the one stringing him along. She's the one who dresses in provocative clothing around her friend, knowing how he might feel. She's the one who blames him for his feelings. She's the one who gets him drunk. She's the one who fucking lies to him. She's the one who has him literally dangling on a string, following her around by the end of the chapter. I'm sorry, Minnie is the one stringing him along, and if you're annoyed by the push and pull dynamic, Kazuya is the reason. It is not Chizuru. It is literally not Chizuru. She is fucking trying. There, you got me a little heated. They're not rage baiting. They've been at this for a while. You guys like hear someone say something and immediately think it's rage baiting. Like, what the fuck? You guys, no, Roman has been at this for a fucking while. He has a very like, he's very stuck on this belief that Chizuru is basically he's gonna come back to all these things he doesn't like, that are frustrating him. And basically I have to deconstruct him all the time, regularly, you know, like, people don't like the push and pull dynamic, so they want Chizuru. Chizuru did this wrong. Chizuru did this wrong. Chizuru did this wrong. And then I go to the thing and I'm like, Chizuru didn't do this wrong, so he'll find another thing. The goalpost just keeps fucking moving, you know? They're not actually rage baiting. It's me trying to deconstruct their arguments because they're built on a false belief that they don't want to break out of. That's unfortunately how I view you, Roman. I think you're stuck in this very false belief that you're trapped in and you don't want to break out of, and you're kind of really stuck into this, okay? We have actually been given a significant amount of Chizuru's POV. You actually have been given enough to truly understand Chizuru. But it requires rereading. You really got to pay attention. You've been given, you know Chizuru. Reiji is literally writing it like, you know Chizuru. Just reread. Just reread. You know Chizuru. But you think you don't because of Minnie. She's gotten into your head that you don't know her anymore, that you're lost, that you're confused. You know who Chizuru is. If you just reread the manga, you'll be like, holy shit, I know who this character is. I feel like a stupid idiot. You know who Chizuru is. You've been given plenty of her POV. You understand exactly where she is. The mystery is an illusion. Anyways, let's continue reading this. Sorry. Kazuya thought he would be scolded by Yaemori-san, but when he saw the expression on her face, he wondered, what kind of emotion is this? The emotion at this moment was a complex mix of disappointment at the thought, so he really ended up like this after all. Regarding the relationship between Kazuya and Ruka, oh my god, disappointment. Minnie deep down didn't believe in Kazuya. Minnie deep down did not believe in love. So she's disappointed. That's a good catch. She idolizes Kazuya, and when her Oshi, aka the person she idolizes, doesn't meet that, her world crumbles a little bit. But she's disappointed because she was already expecting this. She's in shock initially, but now she's disappointed because she was expecting this. It's almost a mirror to Kazuya with the rejection. Minnie was looking for this. In fact, Minnie says this a few times. She secretly believed this, right? She secretly believed Kazuya's love wasn't actually that strong. She secretly believed Kazuya is capable of this. She was literally looking for this. That's why she feels a sense of disappointment. That's why she doesn't fish any further. That's why she doesn't actually try to understand what was going on. Because she secretly believed this. Wow. She's just like him. Resignation. So it's a disappointment. So Kazuya is doing this after all regarding the relationship between Kazuya and Ruka. Resignation that it was pointless to get angry at Kazuya now. Anxiety about what would happen between Chizuru and him from now on. And the certain things of, well, he's a guy, so it can't be helped. Which is so fucking stupid. I hate that kind of fucking argument. Oh, it's a guy. He's a guy, so it can't be helped. No, that's stupid. Even Chizuru realized how fucking stupid that is. Regarding the intention behind Yaemori's son's question to cause... I think Chizuru always knew that was stupid. I think Chizuru always knew that was stupid, but she had, like, her anxieties. Regarding the intention behind Yaemori's son's question to Kazuya. In the next panel, it looks like she's teasing Kazuya. But what she's actually doing is checking Kazuya's sense of ethics. Are you going to repeat the same mistake again? Do you have strong self-control? How serious are you about Chizuru? She's not asking about out of sexual interest. Well, yeah, but the framing of the question is just all wrong. From here, Yaemori-san asserts that the reason things turned out this way was partly Chizuru's responsibility too. This isn't because she harbors hostility towards Chizuru. Rather, it's the flip side of how highly she evaluates and respects Kazuya. Yeah, it can't possibly be Kazuya's fault. It's all Chizuru's fault. In terms of the manga, you could say she's voicing the murky, frustrated feeling that many readers have been holding towards Chizuru on their behalf. That's why you agree with her. You deeply feel this. You're frustrated. You're angry at Chizuru, but you forgot who she is. Kazuya says Mizuhara isn't at fault, but Yaemori-san refuses to engage in the discussion, calling it a circular argument that's just going nowhere. Except he's right. She's not actually at fault. The reason is that she already knows Kazuya will never budge from his position of defending Chizuru, and she understands that arguing with him is pointless. Right? But she feels the need to prove that Chizuru is at fault. They disagree, so she's just not going to bother actually engaging with the possibility that Chizuru might not be in fault. That's the fucking issue. She doesn't want to engage with that discussion. Here, the reader realizes that Yaemori-san doesn't get emotional, remains calm, and doesn't forcefully intrude into Kazuya's feelings. She's not cold towards Kazuya, rather she maintains an appropriate sense of distance and serves as the role that balances the story. Ooh, I'm starting to disagree. Hopefully he's just... I'll hold off on judgment. I'm disagreeing, but I'll hold off on judgment. It feels like Yaemori-san's advice is only turning into flags for later on. Taking concrete measures regarding Ruka just means not carelessly letting Ruka into his own room. Doing it so Chizuru won't find out just means not talking about it himself. And polishing his manliness is vague, and none of it leads to any fundamental solutions. Wow, it's called... She's saying polishing your manliness? She's saying polishing your manliness in Japanese? Jesus Christ. Ugh, annoying. Okay, reload the page. Twitter's fucking useless. Half the time it doesn't goddamn work. Let's try again. Okay, deep L it is. Even though it takes longer. Keeping Ruka out of the room is merely superficial measure. Fundamentally, the relationship must be properly resolved. Even if you say, make sure Chizuru doesn't find out, if Ruka tells Chizuru, that's the end of it. Becoming more manly is vague. Going to the gym or getting driving license doesn't quite feel like what that entails. Is Minnie's advice actually good? I'm hearing like a banger-ass piano in the background. Kingdom Hearts music fucking bangs, dude. Let's see. To begin with, concealing the truth to avoid Chizuru finding out is clearly going to lead to her getting angry later if Ruka spills the beans, demanding, why didn't you tell me? Therefore, if you tell Chizuru before Ruka does, she might forgive him, given her firm belief that if you don't love them, even sex isn't cheating. Except it wasn't cheating. It's a fucking assault. Jesus Christ. It's crazy how even Japanese fans can't tell it was fucking assault. It's crazy how even Japanese fans don't want to label this as assault when it fucking was. Kazuya says he can't wipe away even 1 millimeter of his guilt. Oh my god, that's brutal. Oh, that's brutal. And the Japanese is more brutal. Jesus Christ. Yo, the Japanese is brutal. Holy shit. He can't even wipe away a millimeter of his guilt. He feels just as guilty as before. Holy shit. And that's only natural because everything Yaemori's-san is advising is just surface level coping and not a fundamental solution at all. Yaemori-san thinks as long as Chizuru doesn't find out, there's no problem. But Kazuya thinks even if she doesn't find out, it's still painful. Holy shit, the Japanese is brutal about this. This is likely foreshadowing set up for Kazuya himself voluntarily telling Chizuru about his relationship with Ruka in order to escape from his guilt. I think Miyajime-sensei wants to emphasize the point that Kazuya may be immature and clumsy, but he's fundamentally sincere. Not quite, but I think you're right. Yes, I do agree. Kazuya is fundamentally a sincere person, just not. But you can lie to yourself and think it's sincerity. You know, that's the sad part. You can lie to yourself and think it's sincerity. Kazuya repeatedly expressed gratitude for Yaemori-san cheering him on, while at the same time thinking, I can't possibly give up on Mizuhara. This clearly shows that the person he has romantic feelings for is Chizuru, not Yaemori-san. When Yaemori-san says, buy me juice, Kazuya responds with, huh? Why me? Many readers probably felt a sense of discomfort here, right? Since he's already feeling grateful to her, saying things like, I'm thankful or thanks for cheering me on, normally he would just happily treat her. This moment clearly shows that the current distance between the two of them. Yeah, I like that. There's distance. There's a lack of understanding. Minnie thinks she's owed something. Minnie thinks she's owed something. Oh my god, Minnie thinks she's owed something. Buy me juice, as if he just owes her juice. It's like Kazuya just owes her. Why me? Why do I have to get you something? You didn't do anything. Why do you deserve a reward? And yet she makes him do it anyway. And then as his prize for giving her this reward, he gets bonked on the head and called a bad boy. Like listening to her was bad advice. It's like listening to Minnie was the wrong move. You choosing to listen to Minnie got you bonked on the head and being called a bad boy. Jesus Christ. Kazuya is grateful to Yaemori-san, but they are not on casual, close terms. This is clear from the fact that he normally calls her Yaemori-san, complete with the honorific son. They're not actually. Yep, good catch. The reason he doesn't immediately treat her, the reason Kazuya doesn't immediately treat her is meant to contrast his own immaturity with the effortless composure Yaemori-san, who can casually say, "I'll just have jasmine tea" without hesitation, thereby depicting that Kazuya is still very much in the process of growing up. And yet, Minnie frames herself as an adult when she is not. Minnie frames herself as an adult when she is not. Yaemori-san's "no way, that's no good" should be understood as her scolding Kazuya, telling him, pull yourself together already. What does she say in Japanese? Wait, what the hell does she say in Japanese? Now I'm curious. Wait. What the hell does Minnie say in Japanese? Yeah, that's written right there. So what does that read as? No way. No way. As a stern admonishment to Kazuya to pull yourself together. Letting Ruka into his room was reckless, and the same thing could happen again. But saying this would sour the mood. That's why she spoke up as they parted. That's how Minnie wants it to be presented. In reality, it hides a significantly bigger issue. After Yaemori-san scolded Kazuya, she changed the subject with an expressionless face as if nothing had happened. I think this came from her feeling of not wanting to make the atmosphere worse, having no intention of blaming Kazuya, and having already said she wanted to say, so the rest was up to Kazuya. No. I believe she deliberately avoided becoming emotional in order to not ruin her relationship with Kazuya. All I read is a coward. I think it means one strong point, but job interviews already feel a bit outdated at this point. Is Kazi going to compare himself to someone else and then question himself about what strengths actually are? The scene where Mr. Yamori scolded him looked utterly adorable. I gently thumbed with jasmine tea. It's overflowing with affection. People fell for it hook, line, and sinker. The bunk made me incredibly uncomfortable. I had a past with a girlfriend that was like Kazuya and Minnie. Starting off innocent enough. A few bunks later, bad choices were made. Boiling the frog. Jesus. Yeah, the bunk is a little weird, frankly. Serious discussion. It's getting a little late, so I'll do a little bit of serious discussion, and then tomorrow, before I start Kingdom Hearts, I'll read a little more of Reddit and stuff. Minnie's advice is a bit of a mixed bag as usual. Making concrete plans against Ruka is undoubtedly a good idea, but the emphasis on hiding everything from Chizuru seems like a recipe for trouble. Keeping the secret indefinitely seems infeasible, especially since Ruka surely recognizes it as a potential point of leverage she has over Kazuya. So I think it'd be wiser for Kazuya to be relatively upfront about what happened and make sure he retains control over the narrative. Having a plan for how to tell Chizuru would also be helpful to help Kazuya figure out exactly what's to frame and what happened. Because this chapter showed us his unrehearsed, off the cuff explanation of events, and it makes him come off a lot worse than the reality did. He immediately starts the ball rolling by giving Minnie the inaccurate impression that he and Ruka had a full fledged sexual intercourse. And then his open ended, I couldn't just leave her like that, makes it sound like he returned to Ruka of his own volition instead of just freezing in place long enough for her to bodily drag him to the bed. It's difficult to think of a way Kazuya could more profoundly fumble his description of what happened that day. And if he doesn't plan ahead, there's a real risk that he screws up like this whenever he becomes time to come to clean Chizuru. No, I think Chizuru will dig deeper. The big thing about this is that his wording is all vague. His wording is all completely vague. You need a proper description of events. And Kazuya's wording is all vague. He doesn't recognize what happened. To Minnie's credit, I do think she's a good thing that she's pushing Kazuya to not blame himself. I have some quibbles with her execution. Uh, no. So there's an issue with this. There's an issue I kind of have with this. Um, I didn't realize this on our first read. Minnie absolves Kazuya of guilt, but passively blames him. That's literally what she's doing. She absolves Kazuya of all guilt and then passively blames him, which is just as bad. Because she's actively treating him like he did something wrong. Lines like, if anything, I'm impressed it lasted this long, still implicitly name Kazuya as the responsible party, and Minnie's attempt to pin the blame on Chizuru is a stretch, but at the very least, she's managed to get Kazuya thinking about the events in a way other than just beating himself up about it. Minnie made everything worse, bro. Minnie made everything worse. One last thing to wrap this up. Ever since this assault, Kazuya has been dreading the idea that the people he knows would be angry or disgusted when they find out about it. But interestingly, he doesn't appear to have considered at all that people might react by being sad. I'm thinking of Chizuru in particular here. While the idea of her lashing out at Kazuya in anger has been an anxiety at the front of his mind for pretty much as long as they've known each other, she hasn't actually done that in ages now. And she's been very serious and earnest about trying to engage with his feelings and her own. The Chizuru reacts poorly to learning about this assault scenario isn't likely to be her storming off in outrage. It's more likely to be her ending up crushed and dispirited, probably blaming herself along the same lines as Minnie proposed this week. In this situation that Kazuya is completely unprepared to, and that's a situation Kazuya is completely unprepared to deal with. His self-esteem is so deep in the gutter that he doesn't he hasn't even considered that Chizuru might be holding on to hope about him that she'd be distraught to see broken. If that's the direction the story goes, it's going to hurt like a motherfucker. But I can't deny that it'd be fascinating to watch. I think Reiji may be setting up Kazuya to confess what happened to Chizuru by getting him to fess up despite Minnie's advice. It means more that he tried to be genuine and honest, but that he did the right thing rather than him trying to be smart about it like Minnie advised him to be. I hope you're right. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Chizuru is not gonna find out from Kazuya. I think Chizuru is gonna get clues. Maybe it'll be Umi mentioning it passively. Maybe it'll be Chizuru finding out from someone else or something. The reason I say this is because Kazuya is too afraid to talk to Chizuru. He's not. He's not gonna tell her. Um, and Sumi and Mami both represent unspoken truths. If Kazuya talks to Sumi and maybe hears something different from her, I could see it absolutely. Um, how would Umi find out? No, no, no. So what I'm saying is, Umi saw Kazuya. Umi saw Ruka hold Kazuya. He could passively mention that to Chizuru, be like, "Hey, like, I know you're serious, but there's that girl like holding his arm. You know, like you guys got really close, but just saying, like, you never know what might happen." You could say something like that, you know. Uh, he just giving her advice, be like, "Hey, like I saw that." Um, and maybe Chizuru initially might not think it's a big deal, and then somehow maybe Minnie tells her or something. Um, somehow Chizuru might get clues, or someone tells her, and suddenly the pieces start lining up. Um, and what it could result in is Chizuru might go to for advice to maybe Sumi. You know, and then Sumi will like just talk to him, and then maybe Sumi might get them to just talk. You know, maybe Sumi could be the mediator, which would be really interesting. But I don't think Kazuya is gonna tell her. I absolutely don't. I don't think Kazuya is gonna tell her. That would be the best result, but Kazuya is too afraid of rejection. He can tell Minnie because deep down he knows Minnie won't reject him. But he's too afraid of rejection. He's not going to tell Chizuru. Absolutely not. It's not happening. I severely doubt it. Let's see what Varicus wrote. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go through all of these. There's a lot. I might come back tomorrow. I was curious how many readers were celebrating Minnie's actions yesterday. In this chapter, Minnie even goes so far as to say that now Kazuya will be more prepared when it's his turn with Chizuru. Yesterday, the audience forgot what had happened. These are the same readers who just a few weeks ago were scandalized by the situation with Ruka. The censorship with the famous black bars in the Western world arose precisely because of that. Not because the scenes were too hot, but because the audience's reaction that week, which framed it as a non consensual situation. So now they celebrate Minnie saying this that all of this was inevitable. So now they celebrate Minnie saying that this was all inevitably Chizuru's fault. And to make matters worse, as she has been doing, Minnie advises Kazuya to stay away from Chizuru, not to talk to her about anything, and meanwhile to focus on nonsense like becoming a better man. And literally in Japanese, she's saying improve your manliness. The fuck? I'm gonna have to check with Crumpy, like what the fuck Minnie's actually saying in Japanese. I definitely have to check with Crumpy about that. Cause like the fuck do you mean? Um, let me. Okay, so here first. And then here second. Meanwhile, Chizuru, as Kazuya himself acknowledges, is taking things seriously. She went directly to Umi and told him there was nothing between them. In contrast, Kazuya keeps doing stupid things and maintaining the relationship with Ruka simply because he doesn't want it to end. He continues falling in a spiral. We still have to see what will make him wake up. What advice should Kazuya receive in the relationship with Ruka? Stop messing around in the gym, beauty treatments and other nonsense. Get in touch with Chizuru, help her at home, talk to her. Yeah. What did Minnie do? The exact opposite. I think Minnie should also maybe get a chance to express her feelings to Kazuya. She was there in his lowest, in my honest opinion. So look, Minnie's a coward. It's not that she doesn't have a chance. She absolutely does. But Minnie keeps it ambiguous on purpose. No. Minnie does this on purpose. You think Minnie just doesn't have a chance to tell Kazuya her feelings. No. She's keeping it ambiguous on purpose. Why do you keep it ambiguous on purpose? You keep that semblance of hope. For instance, you know how when people watch very pretty YouTubers, they prefer to not know if they're dating or not. It keeps the illusion alive. You might get with them, you might not. You never know. Why do you think when Japanese people watch idols or when we watch celebrities, we don't want them to be dating someone so we can thirst over them? Minnie not sharing her feelings plays directly in that ambiguity. She literally dresses as his girlfriend. Damn, like Pokimane. I don't know about Pokimane, so I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm not gonna comment on that. I don't know what that's like, but I'm just saying keeping that ambiguity is definitely a thing, and Minnie absolutely keeps that ambiguity. Minnie, out of context, looks like Kazuya's girlfriend. She's not his girlfriend. Minnie looks like she has feelings for him. If she has feelings for him, why the fuck is she giving him advice about relationships with another girl? She's not going to give him good advice. She's going to fucking sabotage him. But Minnie doesn't address her feelings, so she's like, I'm not actually into him, so it's okay. But she secretly doesn't like the girl that he's with. So she starts blaming her for everything. It's almost like Minnie is literally lying to herself and to him. Maybe we are underestimating Minnie. Oh, no, we're not. I feel like I'm one of the few people who's not. She may be capable of something we don't see coming. I mean, she's been doing shit stuff this whole time. I don't know what you're expecting. Like, what are you imagining? You're gonna have to clarify. Like, what exactly are you imagining here? Because that's the thing. Minnie sabotages, but she's not like she's kind of more of a coward than Mommy. Like Minnie doesn't like Varicus imagined Minnie yelling at Chizuru. So that is, if that's what you're imagining, yeah, totally. She always yells at Chizuru. Minnie always yells at Chizuru. But the other thing too is that Minnie is also a good person. That's the fascinating contrast of Minnie's character. It makes her a very good person. Or sorry, a very good character. It makes her a very good character. Because a character who does not have moral qualms about their choices are not really interesting. So Minnie being a good person who's sincere, but a person who's also trapped in her own lies makes her incredibly fascinating because she's a good person, but she's also probably capable of doing very cruel things without meaning to. So, what do you think Kazuya will actually think of himself and just communicate with Chizuru directly? Kazuya hasn't thought for himself for a while now. Sorry to tell you, buddy. He hasn't really thought for himself for a fucking while now. And he's not gonna just magically do it. This isn't something that's gonna magically happen. Okay. He's gonna. You're gonna need to hit an incredible low. Like Kazuya's entire perception would need to shatter. And he would need to spiral a little bit. So we still need a massive low and a spiral before any of that is gonna happen. Kazuya is absolutely gonna need to spiral first, and that hasn't happened yet. You know, he's gonna need to hit a deep low, and I think that's slowly being built up to. So the talk with Sumi not going to help. We don't know how that's going to play out or when it's going to happen. You know, we don't know when that's going to play out. It's going to happen. I could see a spiral before he meets Sumi. Maybe Sumi doesn't even know. You know, maybe Sumi doesn't even know. It could literally end up being the reverse of what happened with Chizuru, where if Chizuru messed things up once again, Minnie going to stay calm and let it slide. Minnie's not gonna make a move, not until totally impossible. Are you talking about getting with Chizuru's not gonna do anything wrong. Chizuru's not gonna do anything wrong. Literally, it's Kazuya. Kazuya's gonna fuck this up. Chizuru didn't even mess up the first time. Like, sorry to tell you, I know you think Chizuru messed up in the date. She didn't. She absolutely fucking didn't. It's just Minnie's own perception that she did. Chizuru kissing Kazuya was not a mistake. It was the right move. It's Kazuya who chose not to fucking do anything. Chizuru's not making any mistakes. Not really. It's Minnie. Minnie's causing all of this. It's Minnie's own perception. It's your perception. But Minnie would think Chizuru messed up. So Minnie could yell at her because she thinks Kazuya can't do it himself. He cares for her too much, so he's not going to do it. So Minnie would do it for him. This was Varicus' own interpretation too, which I added to that. I think Kazuya is seeing this, and Kazuya is seeing Minnie do that and blame Chizuru, would be important because I think Kazuya needs to see how the girls around him treat Chizuru and how much Chizuru is going through alone. Like, I think Kazuya really needs to see, like, how Mommy yelled at her, how Ruka yelled at her, how all these people are, like, fucking screaming at her. And the girl's just, like, dealing with this shit alone. And no one seems to want to, like, give her any credit for just the fact that she handles this shit all on her own. And just takes it like a champ. Minnie doesn't like Chizuru, at least Kazuya being with her. She tries to insult her, then Kazuya says it's not like that. She looks dissatisfied. The change of the subject is insane. Yeah, it's clear Minnie has a very deep bias for Kazuya and a dislike for Chizuru because her own perception of Chizuru is blinding her. If I had to buy one volume of the books, what's the best volume to own? Volume number that has the whole experience. That's a weird fucking question, dude. I don't know. That's not really. How would you? What? I don't know. I don't know. That's a weird question. It's not like the volumes are like separate things. They're all interconnected. So I don't know what to tell you. Chizuru has been honest with her feelings all along. She has been, for the most part. There's only like one thing Chizuru is hiding, is that she's horny too. Chizuru's pretty much just hiding that she's horny too, and she's hiding Mommy. That's kind of it. But that's the thing. Kazuya knows about Mommy, and he doesn't ask. Chizuru knows about Ruka, but she does ask. So, yeah, that's kind of important. Like, Kazuya knows about Mommy and doesn't say anything. Chizuru knows about Ruka, but she does say something. So, Chizuru is not like 100% honest, but nobody really is. You know? And she's definitely being a lot more honest than Kazuya. Definitely. It's 8 o'clock. I might hold off on reading this today. Maybe I'll read what I wrote really quick, and then we'll call it. I think that's reasonable. I'll read what I wrote really quick, and then we'll call it. And then I'll continue tomorrow. We'll keep going tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll maybe write something else. We'll keep going tomorrow. Sorry, it's just getting late. I gotta get to sleep. I have to get up at like 5 in the morning. So it's, you know, we'll go from there. 411 is about how things look versus what they really are. As a contrast to chapter 410, which is about like the mask slipping, 411 is about how we choose to see lies instead of truths. How many appears at first versus her calm after. How many describes July 11th on chapter 411. Or how many sees guilt while looking at innocence. You can even see it with Minnie herself. How she acts, what she wears, or even how she speaks. Minnie wears a miniskirt and long sleeves that make her look cute but hide her hands. Right? So she's revealing something which attracts Kazuya's eyes, but she hides her hands. You don't see what she's actually showing you, right? You don't see what her game is. You don't know what Minnie's game is. You have no fucking clue. She looks like Kazuya's girlfriend and acts like it when she isn't, asking him if he will cheat again. Everything Minnie does betrays her words. Out of context, Minnie looks like she is the one dating Kazuya, similar to how out of context what Ruka did with Kazuya looked like a couple's thing. And that's exactly how Minnie views it. She does not search for the truth, she settles for lies. The July 11th is Ramen's Day explanation Minnie gives is the perfect analogy. This is the best explanation Minnie could come up with to explain what she does not know. Just as the framing she gives to Kazuya is that he is guilty and if he will do it again, not asking if he's actually okay. All right? And this is the funny thing. We're on chapter 411 and Minnie describes July 11th as Ramen's Day because the 11 are the chopsticks and the 7 is the spoon. How do we start the chapter? She's holding chopsticks. We start the chapter with Minnie holding chopsticks, but we do not end with the chapter with the spoon. Instead, we end with a bottle. And what's interesting is that 1, 4. And there's 2 of them. She's literally in the shape of a 4 by the end of it. Minnie is talking about July 11th when she's literally describing this very chapter, where she literally eats ramen. It's almost like her explanation of July 11th is nonsense. She's trying to explain what she does not understand. Did you notice how Kazuya's explanation is vague at best? Minnie takes it at face value. Kazuya doesn't mention how he resisted, how he said no, how he ran away. Why? Because he views himself as guilty. But Minnie, like many readers, just says, "Okay, I believe you. You're bad." The mask that Minnie could see past last chapter, all she could really see was the mask slipping, not why it was slipping, why he wasn't okay. She never notices her own influence on him. Instead, she makes him feel worse for it, passively treating him like an animal in heat. What this chapter depicts is victim blaming. How, because of our social bias, in this case the fact that Kazuya is a man, we cannot see what others are going through and make it worse. Minnie blames Chizuru who was not even there. She doesn't blame Ruka but passively blames Kazuya. How, in any way, shape, or form, is Chizuru at fault that Ruka assaulted Kazuya? Chizuru had no idea Ruka was capable of this. Kazuya never mentioned all the times Ruka tried to have sex and kissed him without consent. He just told Chizuru they didn't have sex, which is true. Chizuru was aware of how things could happen between Kazuya and Ruka. She regularly asks Kazuya about Ruka for that reason. Her whole reasoning in the 3 months was Ruka. Chizuru isn't dumb, but Kazuya doesn't tell her, and Minnie acts like Chizuru is a stupid pretty girl. Isn't it fascinating that Chizuru couldn't face Kazuya in the 3-month time skip because of her guilt towards Ruka? And now, Kazuya can't face Chizuru because of his guilt that Ruka caused. Yet again. Kazuya is being made to feel as Chizuru felt, understanding her pain and how she felt. And guess what? Minnie could see what Chizuru did wrong in the 3-month time skip, but she did not see what Kazuya did wrong, how he perpetuated the cycle, approaching her in all the wrong ways. Did Chizuru really ghost Kazuya, or did Kazuya avoid rejection? This is being revealed now. It's incredibly ironic that Minnie told Chizuru to take Kazuya's feelings seriously, yet she herself isn't serious. She acts like his girlfriend, dresses as his girlfriend, talks to him like his girlfriend, yet she won't be honest to him or herself In that sense, Minnie is stringing him along. 411 really got everyone hook, line, and sinker. Minnie did not give Kazuya good advice. She told him to keep she told him to keep this secret from Chizuru, blame Chizuru for Ruka, then bond Kazuya like he did something wrong. Kazuya even said he still feels guilty. Minnie's hands are hidden, as she is. Just look at Kazuya at the end of the chapter. He walks with his head down. Minnie did not lift him up, she dragged him down. Kazuya did not solve anything, merely looped back to the cycle Minnie created. 411 is about the mask slipping and lying to ourselves to put it back on. Notice how in this cover, notice how this is the cover. This is Minnie's real self. She's totally childish, screaming this in a restaurant. She doesn't even know if what she said is correct, but she immediately jumps. Her fantasy shattered. She's not calm, she's panicking. She just looks calm. Yeah, this one. Chapter 411, and Minnie tries to explain what July 11 is, saying the chopsticks are 11 and 7 is a spoon. We start with Minnie holding chopsticks because it's a 411 and end with a bottle instead of a spoon. It's like she's off the mark somehow. Right? And the bottle literally like it kind of looks like a 4 if you think about it. Cuz 4 can be shaped like this. So right? It looks like something you can box someone with. Let's see. I was responding to someone here. I think Minnie has a bit of a bias towards Chizuru. Chizuru appears like she isn't serious about love. Minnie sees two sides with her, a serious person and a wishy-washy person. And because she is around cosplayers, she projects that onto Chizuru, but she idolizes Kazuya, so she's nice. Let's see. I think 411 is about not seeing yourself clearly, not clearly looking at what you are doing and how it appears. It's on the cover. Minnie screams her misinterpretation of Kazuya's secret to the crowd, then tells him to keep quiet from the one person who should know. She's not being silly, it's framed like that to disguise the issue. Minnie is literally airing out Kazuya's laundry to everyone. Her advice is terrible. Kazuya even says it didn't remove any of his guilt. She literally made it worse, like I said. Let's see what else we got. We already read the July 11th thing. Oh yeah, the thing that I named this fucking video after. Keeping secrets from your partner is never a good idea. You should be able to talk and trust them. Minnie's advice fundamentally goes against love and relationships. It's about damage control and not losing what you have in fear of loneliness. She's just a lonely rabbit in a cage. Right? We read this before. Chizuru calls Kazuya if he still feels like a lonely rabbit in a cage, just call her. And you see adult rabbit written on Minnie's clothes. Minnie even describes love as lonely. This hides her own loneliness. Minnie is so lonely she unintentionally strings Kazuya along, while Kazuya's constant fear of rejection keeps him attached, creating an unhealthy codependent relationship between the two rather than a real friendship. I wonder if someone like commented and we talked about that. Yeah, we talked to some people here. Do you think this ties into her being a streamer? Her social tendencies that viewers get for streamers can be seen. Minnie is the viewer, Kazuya's relationship is the stream. Huh, that is interesting. Give that a like. Yeah. It's also about idol culture. She absolutely idolizes it. So Minnie isn't just doing this because she's in love with Kazuya, but more the whole time she's just lonely and is using Kazuya's love for Chizuru to not feel lonely. Low key, yeah. And in spending time with him, she's starting to very much catch feelings, acting as his girlfriend when she isn't and hasn't defined what that role is. The ambiguity plays into the doubt of what they have, what she is, very much akin to a stringing along. Let's see. Set this. And then finally, we'll read this. Minnie is going to look like such a jerk by the end of this. She talks like Chizuru doesn't know what rejecting someone means, while Chizuru in the rejection was so devastated that it looked like she was the one being rejected. Losing Kazuya was akin to losing families for Chizuru. Yep. Yeah, Reishi is like setting up an insane rug pull. Reishi is setting up an insane rug pull. He's gonna fucking like pull that shit and you're gonna fall straight on your face, dude. Like when Reishi pulls that fucking rug straight to the ground, straight to your face. I'm gonna be brutal. Okay, so I'm gonna call it here for. Oh my god, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna call it here for now. I'll come back. We'll continue tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I get off work, but we'll continue tomorrow. I have work in the morning, and then afterwards we'll do the fun stuff. We'll get into that. I heard that there was a leak. There was a leak. I heard that season 5 is gonna start on April 10th. So there you go, April 10th. That seems like when we're gonna start season 5. So that's gonna be interesting. Get ready for when chapter 218 drops. That shit's gonna blow the fuck up. That shit's gonna blow the fuck up. It's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Alrighty, I'm gonna head out. Y'all have a good night. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll probably start a lot earlier tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably start at like hopefully 1 or 12 or somewhere around that range, Pacific Standard Time. There's also a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. If there's anything interesting, I'll share it. I'll be watching it with someone else while I'm at work. If there's anything interesting, we'll talk about it. But we probably won't. We probably won't. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll play Kingdom Hearts tomorrow. If not, I'll just do like a long stream talking about this stuff. But we'll see. Anyways, good night. Take care. Hope you all have a wonderful day.